Good
All
morning.
right.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 2016 Queen of the Peak Women's Surfing Championship. We've got Brendan Strider Wasilewski Muhlenberg, the Raspberry here,
Thanks for having me, Mike.
and I'm Mike Jacobson. We're going to be broadcasting live here from Cox Bay all day. So today surfers are just paddling out, and we'll be underway shortly.
Yeah, and what a beautiful day today. A little overcast. I think they might have some sun break in later today, but if you guys can see out in the water there's definitely some contestable swell out there for the surfers all day today, and that's the beauty about this contest being held in October. This is the kind of the swell season, and we're going into surf month, I believe. Surf month is starting all of October, and it's kind of like a blessing of the swell for wintertime, and this is a great way to kick off that surf month with this Queen of the Peak contest. And it's an all-girls surf contest. I believe it's one of the only all-girls surf contests in probably North America, if not the world.
Yeah, well, there's a few out there, but I think there's one down in Southern California called the Supergirl Pro, but definitely north of California, this is the only women's contest. We've got 100 competitors this year. I believe from the ages of, I'll have to check my notes, but from 6 to 50 years old.
Ooh.
So we have
Nice.
3 divisions. We have the longboard division, which is an open division, so all ages welcome there. The shortboard division, again, open division, and then the Princess of the Peak, which is 16 and under. And yeah, we've had Princess of the Peak champions now make it into the women's shortboard finals in the last year here with Matea Olin, who just represented the country in Portugal on the Azores and quarterfinaled. So she's still got a few more years left to surf in that division, and yeah, pretty exciting stuff for surfing in Canada.
That's pretty unbelievable for 13-year-old Matea to go over there and hold it down for Canada, and I believe that's probably I think that's the farthest a Canadian has ever gone in an international event. So yeah, good job to the whole team and Coach Shaz and Dominic as well for heading over there and bringing it home. You know, quarterfinals, it's pretty big fate going up against the world, and on the scale of that as well, to have the nerves that Matea had to make it all the way, it goes to show how much better surfing in Canada here, especially on the girls' side of things, it's getting better every single year. In a contest like this, it's great for them to showcase their skills to not just the town at Tofino, but now to the world because of this beautiful live stream that we're providing for you guys today. So if you guys are joining us, you should spread the word. We are live at www.queenofthepeak.com. Tell your friends and family and coworkers and everyone to tune in online. If you can't make it down to the beach, we are streaming this live to the world.
Yeah, we're also big thank you to MazCon. We have fiber optic directly to the beach. Definitely the first time ever that we've got lightning fast internet and Wi-Fi down on the beach. So
it's about time.
Yeah, no, and it makes this stuff possible. So a huge thanks to MazCon. They've been working real hard to make this possible for us. If you are watching in Tofino, or you're at any of the resorts, the Pacific Sands, Ocean Village, the Wiccan and Ashen, you can watch us on Channel 3 in the resorts, I believe, and then we're also on Channel 214 with regular cable subscribers in Tofino and everywhere where MazCon provides internet and cable service, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty unreal.
Quebec is also right behind this contest. We've got the guys and girls over at WeSurf showing the contest live for us as well. So we.surf, they just launched their new website. Big thanks to WeSurf and Ben Rochette for setting that up for us. So we.surf, and I apologize, I don't speak French, but hopefully you guys will get a kick out of this contest as well. So
merci beaucoup. So yeah, so for 7 years of this contest, Mike, how have you seen it grow throughout the years?
It's crazy. So year one, we started in 2010, and myself and Chrissy Montgomery of Surf Sister, so Shelter and Surf Sister, had an idea to start a women's contest that was women's centric and all amenities were catered towards making it enjoyable for women. So the competitors always receive a free dinner at shelter. Back then, it used to be the awards banquet. Now we've outgrown it, so it's the opening ceremonies. And yeah, so we started in year one with about 40 competitors. Massage services provided by Ancient Cedar Spa at the Wickinush Inn on the beach. Chiropractic. We had a dog tent, babysitting because there's some mothers in this event. And yeah, it's every year just people have latched onto it, and more local businesses wanted to get involved, and more competitors. We've grown to 100 competitors now. And people join us to surf in the contest from California, Hawaii, Oregon, obviously the Pacific Northwest, all over Tofino. It's crazy. The level of surfing that we see in this contest now is far beyond wherever I thought it would be, and I think it's only going to get stronger in the years to come. So
Yeah, it's definitely going to start off with with you guys originally back in 2010 kicking this contest off, and it's great to see kind of all over the world, if you travel around, to see the amount of women surfers in the lineup out here in Tofino. It's quite remarkable, and actually a lot of them surf a lot better than some of the guys out here too. So it's definitely a pretty awesome feeling when you're out there with the same level of girls and men ratio out there. So yeah, and every single year as this contest gets bigger and bigger, it's just gonna keep growing, and it's makes it very fun out here, and it's great to see the community of Tofino too come together and support this event every single year. I know everyone is very stoked on this sport we call surfing, and every single year it just keeps getting bigger and bigger out here, and it is kind of almost surpassing all the other industries out here that have been kind of at the forefront for the main tourism draw. So surfing is definitely getting more popular out here, and it is definitely pretty difficult to surf out here in Canada with the cold weather and the cold water, and the waves can get pretty good out here, usually kind of come the fall and the winter time. That's definitely kind of the swell season, but it's definitely nice to surf here in the summertime. The water's warmer and the weather's nice, but it is definitely pretty intimidating if you're kind of new to surfing, especially from the transition from summer to fall and winter waves. The weather gets darker and stormier, and the waves get bigger, and but yeah.
okay, we're counting the first heat in 2016 Queen of the Peak in 5, 4, 3, 2.
So if you guys are joining us here, this is heat one of the women's longboard out in the water here. Just stand by for some names here. We'll be able to read them off to you guys. But yeah, so the way we have this whole contest laid out here, 20-minute heats, and the top 2 surfers advance. We have a beautiful and a very professional judging panel this year. So definitely you'll know that the scores will be getting dropped pretty accurately and pretty on par. And so hopefully throughout the day, as the conditions change, we'll have some contestable swell that lots of these surfers can put up some pretty big scores. But right now today, if you guys can see the water, conditions are perfect. Winds are light offshore coming from the east-southeast. We have about a 2 meter at about 8 or 9 second, 10 second swell coming from the west, southwest, and I should be transitioning into a south throughout the weekend. I saw that little blip on the swell chart, and it does look pretty good. But that's the beauty of this contest, is that every single year there seems to be waves, which is great.
Yeah, Dino, it's it does help. We run the contest in sort of September, October. This is swell season. That's why it's surf month here in Tofino. The conditions, we couldn't ask for better for a contest. The judges are drooling at the conditions up here. They were all asking if they could go out earlier. So definitely contestable surf. Yeah, I think the buoy this morning was reading just under 5 feet at 10 seconds. Real light winds. It's going to be sort of light offshores all day. We'll go to live action here in a sec. We're just getting everything set up for the live feed, but as you can tell on screen there, we are in women's longboard Heat 1. Heat 1 has surfer in red is Robin Clark, surfer in white is Anna Saunders, in yellow is Elise Bergman, and in blue is Sarah Zollinger. So early days on the Heat. We'll try and give you some updates on scores as they come, but yeah.
It's great to see every single year the amount of competitors that keep coming out and competing in this contest. Like you said, back in 2010, there were about 40 competitors. Now we're about 100 or so competitors now. It's pretty awesome to see this contest grow and grow every single year, and it kind of get also all the stuff behind the scenes solidified, especially bringing in Sports Canada TV from Vancouver there. Brought this live webcast up a notch, and if you guys can see on the screen, multiple cameras going, and two fine young gentlemen behind here telling you guys how it is, and yeah, it's great to see. And I believe last year, I think we broadcasted to over maybe
I think it was 8,000.
8,000 people around the world. So yeah, definitely stepping up the game for you ladies out there.
So just we'll do a quick introduction for these ladies. So surfer in red's Robin Clark. Robin's actually up here from Carmel, California. 24 years old. She's a regular footer. Not sure if if she's been up to Tofino before. We'll have to ask her that, but stoked to have Robin join us from California. Surfer in white is Anna Sanders, sorry. Anna is, one sec here, 25, from Courtenay. I believe Anna lives in town now. Favorite board, we'll have to get more info on that, is a Lee Cardinal.
Cardinal Sin, Nadayuki.
Yeah.
This is a little ancient. It's been around for years, but.
Regular footer. I think it's Anna, living in Tofino these days.
I believe so, yeah. Kind of back and forth between Victoria and Tofino. She's definitely no stranger to these waves out here and the conditions. Definitely making Tofino definitely a second, if not a first home. So it's, yeah. She's been in this contest for a couple years to come here.
Yeah, nice set out the back here. Looks like we got a surfer in position. White up and out on that one. The sandbars at Cox have been really good. So as you can see here, there's sort of multiple peaks which make it a big playing field. Awesome for competitions where, you know, surfers don't have to sit on top of one another. For anybody who does watch a lot of surf contests online, there is no priority. There are interference rules in play here. But yeah, most of these girls are highly competitive, but also have a ton of camaraderie. You'll see as they walk up the beach, they're always big smiles. And
I've been hearing that all summer, that Cox Bay has definitely been pretty good for conditions, and the banks have been pretty good. As for me, residing down in Ucluelet, Wick has been off and on. Hasn't been the best idea for best year for conditions. We had a lot of throughout the summer, lots of northwest winds and lots of short period swell, which mucked up the beach quite a bit. But Cox Bay is definitely one of the better beaches out here for at least getting the sandbars in shape. It's a little bit smaller than the other beaches in the park, which creates a bit of a swell funnel, and it kind of mellows the swell out a bit instead of kind of being a giant free-for-all, especially when you go to the likes of Long Beach and Wickeninish. Those beaches are pretty big, and they funnel lots of swell, where Cox Bay is always nice and groomed. And, I mean, if you can deal with the crowds, it's one of the premier beaches here in Canada. So
yeah, kind of accepts all directions. So northwest, you know, as long as it's sort of two meters or under, northwest swells will funnel in the wintertime. Summertime, you know, anything from the west-southwest. Even straight south sometimes sneaks in here, but, you know, it faces almost due west, so you're kind of open to anything in here, and it kind of bends and refracts in off the rocks and headlands that you guys will see off in the distance. Fantastic place. We get to live and call home. Here we've got Surfer in yellow up and riding. Just chilling, trimming down the face.
I believe that's Elise. Looking pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
Nice little roller there just to get her feet a little wet there and get a little comfortable.
So again, this is round 1. So the top 16 seeded surfers aren't surfing at the moment. They are in round 2. So in these heats with 4 women in the water, 2 women will advance. So second place and first place from each heat will advance into the round of 32, round 2, where they will then surf against the top 16 seeds. From round 2, we will then funnel into quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals over the weekend here. So these girls are looking to advance into round 2 here, and nice wave by surfer in blue there. See if we can give you a little update on scores at the moment. All unofficial, but looks like surfer in white is off to a bit of a lead here. She's sitting on a 5 and a 3.83, so no real high-end scores for surfer in white yet. Kind of anybody's heat. If you break down scoring and surfing, anything from 8 to a 10. A 10 is perfect, so I would love to see a 10. We have had 1 or 2, I believe, in Queen of the Peak history. But anything from 8 to 10 is in the excellent range. So we're hoping to see some of those scores drop today. It is, the first round. It is early morning. It normally takes a little bit before the competitive juices all start flowing. But
yeah, definitely. As I was walking up and down the beach this morning during setup, talking to lots of these girls, though the first heat's always the funky one. All the nerves are there from the weekend and the build-up as well. And but it's kind of nice to get that first heat out of the way. That way you can settle down and relax if you make it through. It's kind of a bit nerve-wracking, especially in front of your home crowd, in front of your friends and family, and in front of some judges as well, trying to post some good scores. You got to change your surfing a bit. You can't go out there as a free-for-all, but I mean, end of the day, it's all about having fun and seeing the smiles and the stoke on everyone's faces throughout the whole beach was, it's what the Queen of the Peak's all about.
Yeah, so just to run through some of the events that go on over the week here, just for anybody that is joining us this morning here live. On Tuesday, we had Zumba for Babies. So in years past, all proceeds of Queen of the Peak have gone to the Keep Abreast Foundation. This year, we've kept the money local, and it's all going to the Tofino Hospital Foundation. So they raise money for equipment locally here that's going to stay in our hospital and help make the caregivers and medical professionals of Tofino more capable. So on Tuesday, $1,250 was raised at Zumba for Babies.
Wow.
That was put on by Epic Pharmacy. There's tons of prizes and swag, so a big thanks to Laura from Pharmasave, Epic Pharmacy here in Tofino, and Kayla for getting all the women out and they get dressed up. It's a pretty awesome event.
I think that's one of my favorite traits about this area in Tofino, that any sort of event that happens locally here, and all the locals get together and they support every single event.
Especially if there's costumes.
It's just great to see the support every single year, and more and more people just want to get their hands kind of wet in the whole it's kind of Queen of the Peak scene, and it's great to see, because without everyone else, that's how the contest gets better and better.
Walk us through this one. This is Surfer in red. That wave didn't offer much for her. So yeah, then on Wednesday night we had the Man Boys, a snowboard movie premiere. Nate Laverty, who kind of does double time between Whistler and Tofino, brought the crew of snowboarders that put together that movie, and we showed that at Shelter. Fantastic movie. Big props to Nate, very talented guy. He's helped us out with the Queen of the Peak video in the past.
Yeah, he's
the snowboarders. I tell you, I'm surprised those guys can walk after some of the bills that you see. That the wipeout section of that movie, it was hard to watch.
Yeah, definitely the recovery time's a little bit more than if you take a little bit of a fall off a wave here.
Yeah, it's so gnarly.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome to see the level of snowboarding get to where it is now. It's like, it's pretty insane.
Yeah,
you have to be a little bit insane to huck yourself that much and go that big nowadays, and just being able to land certain tricks like that, it shows the true athleticism of all those snowboarders out there, and all of them as well in the movie. They're no stranger to out here. Lots of people are making the move from Whistler down to Tofino. It's definitely a nice little kind of off-season therapy coming out here and surfing. It's nice and relaxing. You can still have fun all year round. But you can see the swell lines out the back there. Definitely some swell all day today. It's supposed to be like this for the next little bit here as this tide starts to fill in. You'll see some different banks up here at Cox Bay start to light up a bit. And from what I've heard throughout all summer and also all September is that the banks out here have been really, really good. You guys can see these lines roll through. And having a contest in October is nice because the swell starts to get a bit more consistent out here and it gets a little bit bigger here. We have Surfer in Blue looking at this one. Nice little drop here. Kind of drove right into the closeout, but definitely some sizable waves there. That was probably on her about chest high. So, and
yeah, some of the other action going on too. Last night we had the opening ceremonies, which is always a ton of fun. Everyone gets a free meal at shelter, and all the girls get dressed up and get amped, and we reveal the draw, so everyone sort of saw who they were up against. And
yeah, I'm bummed I missed that.
Yeah, that's all right. And then tonight there is head down to Whalers on the Point Guest House, the hostel. They're putting together a bit of a dance party. There'll be burgers and beer, and yeah, Stoke the Hospital got on board this year. They've been a big supporter, and big thank you to them for jumping on board.
It's a pretty awesome venue down by the water there.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Right in the heart of Tofino, right of that, just down the hill from the co-op. What street?
Yeah, so that's just on if you head down First Street, sort of the main dock there, and you hang a left just before you head to the dock. That'll bend around down to the ocean there, and you will see Whalers on the Point Guest House. It's a great hostel. That's tonight, and then Saturday night there's a Billabong movie premiere. So obviously Queen of the Peak, founded by Shelter and Surf Sister, but presented by Billabong. Billabong's been with us for 6 of the 7 years. They grow their support every year. It's not possible without them. A huge thanks to Billabong. So they're going to be showing Full Moon. It's a women's snowboard film. That'll be premiering at Shelter. There'll be lots of prizes and swag giveaways for that one. And then Sunday is the Queen of the Peak Rap Party, the official dance party, where we celebrate a weekend of surfing. And Odolith has put that one on. So Odolith is the summer music festival we have here on the coast, and they've got DJ Surgery coming in, who I believe is a mashup DJ, and should be a ton of fun. Looking forward to that. It's always a good way to let loose after a weekend. Late drop there by Surfer in Blue, just goes over the handlebars. Little update, looks like Surfer in White sort of still out in the lead. She backed up her 3 with a 5, so she's now sitting on a combined 2-wave score of a 10.83. Surfer in Red currently in second. She's sitting on a 4 and a 3.33. Oh, it looks like we just had a situations change. Sorry. Scores were dropping. Surfer in Red is now in second place with a 5.17 and a 4.0. Still super tight. Currently sitting in third place is Surfer in Blue with a 4.17 and a 3. Needs a 5.01 to move into that transfer spot in the second place.
So yeah, so for people watching, longboarding is it's a bit of a different kind of scoring system compared to shortboard. So what judges like to see when they're longboarding out there, or when the girls are out there, utilization of your board. So if you can stay busy on your board, moving up and down the board as much as you can. If you can get up to the nose as well and touch that nose and hang out there for a bit, you'll be definitely be getting some good scores there, as well as linking some turns together. So utilization of the wave and length of ride. If you can stay on that wave as kind of as long as possible and ride it to its full potential, you'll be getting some pretty big scores dropped by the judges. So I know a couple of these waves have been coming through, and the judges have been pretty stoked on them. So yeah, utilization of that wave and utilization of your board is critical if you want to get some good scores in advance to the next round. So here at Cox Bay down in Tofino, this is the 7th annual Queen of the Peak Women's Surfing Championship, brought to you by, presented by Billabong. As you can see, these nice contestable waves here. The conditions are going to be like this all day. We have about a 5 foot at 10-second swell right now coming from the west southwest. If you guys, we have Surfer in Red up and riding just down the beach on a nice looking right here. And we got Free Surfer up. Nice little panels back and forth. But yeah, so some contestable swell all day. And whenever these swells kind of come from the west and the southwest, that likes to definitely grooms the beaches quite a bit here. And Cox Bay is definitely likes those kind of westerly swells as well as the southwest swells. Always adds for some good conditions. And with this incoming tide here, we should be getting some pretty good sets. You guys have been watching. These sets have been all consistent all morning. And that's why this contest is so well put together. Is the waves pretty much make the contest what it is. And so having good waves throughout the whole weekend, according to the forecast, these girls should have a pretty good time out there. And you can see the waves that have been coming through, all the girls in their longboard staying busy. So this is heat 1, round 1 of the women's longboard. In the water, just 1 second here. So if you guys join us in the water, we're in red. We have Robin Clark. And in white, we have Anna Saunders. In yellow, we have Elise Gotcher-Berg. And in blue, we have Sarah Zollinger.
1 minute remaining. 1 minute remaining in round 1, heat 1. Again, current situation.
So we got 1 minute remaining left in heat 1, round 1 of the women's longboard. And we'll be moving right into heat 2.
Now a 7.51 to move into the transfer spot. Surfer in blue,
plenty of waves out there.
You're in need of a 6.68. Currently sitting on the bubble. Surfer in white.
In the current situation in the water here, we have in first place, we have we're in red. Her best wave is an 8, and her second wave is a 5.17. So she's got a combined score of a 13.17. Surfer in second in white. That's Anna Saunders. She has a 5.83 and a 5 to back that one up, so she's got a combined score of 10.83. And in third place, we have wearing blue. She's got a combined score of 7.17. So plenty of time left here. Just under a minute remaining left in heat 1, round 1 of the women's longboard. I'll be rolling on through to heat 2. And we have Surfer Red looking at a little one there. Just couldn't quite get into it.
So those two blasts bring to an end round 1, heat 1 of women's longboard. As these ladies come in off the beach, give them a hand. Stand by for results on that one. We will be counting down heat 2. So tab over to round 1, heat 2. Good to go? Counting. So that horn brings to a start.
So, ladies in the water now. We're heading into round 1, heat 2, the women's longboard. We're in red. We have Lydia Ricard. In white, we have Ashley Gonzalez. In yellow, we have Danny Lapointe. And in blue, we have Isabel Lamoureux. 20-minute heats for the women's longboard. And, yeah, if you guys are just joining us here, this is the 7th annual Queen of the Peak Women's Surf Championships held here down at Cox Bay Tofino. So all morning there we had, in the first heat there, we had some pretty good swell coming through, and those ladies were looking pretty busy. We actually had an 8 that was dropped. So we have Surfer in red. That's
Lydia Ricard.
Lydia Ricard.
Well, walking all over that thing, but a little bit out in front of that one. Look at these peaks here, Brennan. This is awesome.
Yeah, there's definitely some good swell out there for these ladies longboard.
Okay, out the back, Surfer in yellow. There we go. That's Danny Lapointe.
Just trimming along that
nice trim,
wave
approaching
there.
section.
Nice.
No points for
Ejection
Bales, but
off there,
that was a sweet ejection. Longboard, I love watching longboarding. Good longboarders are, it's not as necessarily as you don't recognize the critical moves typically as often. There are some longboarders who can really put a board on rail, but the elegance and sort of the dancing and ballet that is longboarding is fantastic to watch. So
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing this go all the way through to the finals.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit less aggressive than, well, it depends who's on the water, but aggressive than shortboarding. You see people as they shortboard, they're aggressively pumping down the line and linking turns. And where longboarding, it's, yeah, like you said, it's kind of like a ballet, you know?
Yeah.
Nice and groom surfing, relax surfing. Definitely slow your surfing down as well. And for the judges out here, for you ladies are watching online in your heats a little bit later, for big scores, what they want to see is utilization of that board. So if you can, if you saw Surfer in red there earlier, moving up and down your board as much as you can and staying busy. And if you can even get up to the nose, the judges will really like that score or drop you a good score. So if Surfer in red, look at staying pretty busy on her board there. And also length of ride and utilization of that wave. So if you can stay on that wave as long as you can and utilize it for its full potential, you'll be getting some good scores all day.
Yeah, so in longboarding, you want a mix of traditional longboarding, so you'll see those cross steps, toes to the nose, but also a combination of sort of more progressive surfing. So we want to be able to we want to see people, really stand on the tail and wrap a turn as well. So if they hit both sides of the criteria, they will potentially see scores up in the excellent, like we saw Surfer in red in Heat 1 there. That was Robin Clark. So all results are unofficial at the moment, but moving through round 1, Surfer in, well, I guess we'll go right through. Surfer in blue, sorry, Surfer in yellow, just getting my feet here this morning. Surfer in yellow with a combined two-wave total of a 6.33 was in 4th place. Surfer in blue with a 4.17 and a 3 for a combined two-wave total of a 7.17 was in 3rd. And Surfer in white, you will advance to round 2. You had a top wave of a 5.83, a combined two-wave total of a 10.83, and winning that heat, Surfer in red with an 8 and a 5.17 for a two-wave total of 13.17. Good start to the morning, Brennan.
Yeah, it's been great. Loving the conditions right now. A little bit overcast. It's not too cold. It's nice having this overcast. The wind usually never picks up, which is great. Right now we have a nice kind of east-southeast, well, gentle off-breeze wind, and should be holding all day today. And as you guys can see in the water, nice and groomed conditions. So Surfer in yellow up and riding, looking at a really beautiful right here. Getting some speed on this one. Looking great on that one. Just got a little caught behind that wave there. So as you see those waves rolling through, turning back into that power pocket there. So right where the whitewash is kind of crumbling at the peak there, and as it crumbles to either side, definitely want to be able to utilize that wave a little bit to help your score, but definitely looking and showing a lot of control in that drop and going down the line there. So yeah, definitely some pretty nice waves all day. I'm pretty stoked to be here again, bringing you the guys the live feed here. Myself, Brendan Muhlenberg, and also Mike Jacobson. We also have another co-special appearance by Alan Pearson. He should be around and subbing in and out, so it's great to bring this contest to you guys and commentate it for you. So if you are just joining us online, this is the 7th annual Queen of the Peak Women's Surfing Championship. So if you are at your computer, shoot some messages out there. Tell your friends, tell everyone who can't make it to Tofino. You can bring the beach right to your living room and tune into this contest. It's also live on WeSurf and also all the local resort channels out here. They are broadcasting it live as well. And yeah, it's definitely nice to see the game of this contest increase every single year and get more and more professional. And you know, as the fundamentals of a contest, you need good waves, a good back end of the contest, so judging and bringing this live feed to you guys is the next level. So that's where it all starts, and then at the end of the day, it's about having fun as well. And as I was walking to the beach this morning and walking around, it's great to see everyone smiling and having fun. Every single year, it's great to see all these girls come out, and this year I believe we have over 100 competitors surfing in this contest. So it's great to see the level of surfing and also the attendance out here at the beach. The whole community comes down and supports not just the contest, but all the girls that are surfing in it. And it's great to see every year this contest grow and grow. So we have Surfer in Yellow out the back there, getting some nice speed off that drop there. See if you can stay with this one and not get stuck behind it. A little shuffle up to the front there. Almost get those toes right up to the nose there, and got a little stuck on that little bottom turn she had. But yeah, utilization of that board. So if you can stay busy on that board, scores will be getting pretty good here. But yeah, if you can just stand up and do a few things or as much as you can on that board, you'll be getting some scores. And we saw earlier in round one, heat one of the women's longboard, I believe it was Anna Saunders, had caught about 10 or 11 waves, and anything can happen on any sort of wave out here. It's all here at Cox Bay, it's all a beach break. So the conditions are always changing, and the wave is never really the same like you have at kind of classic point break scenarios. So you never know, a funky wave that doesn't look that appealing could turn into something pretty magical as it breaks on different banks out here. And as the tide fills in a bit, you'll be noticing the conditions change a little bit. The swell will start to kind of light up different banks, but there's kind of a pretty defined peak in front of us here, straight out in front of the judges tower, and a little bit to the left there as well. There's a nice looking peak, but yeah, I know. I'm kind of sitting here in the judges booth, commentating, kind of frothing on seeing these waves come through. There's definitely some nice looking lefts and rights, and it just seems to be getting better all day as that tide starts to push. We might see a little bit of a drop in the swell once we hit high tide, but then as that tide starts to switch and drop to low later this afternoon, conditions should be getting pretty good again. So yeah, thanks for joining us here.
Down on the beach, we also have
down at Cox Bay, Tofino.
Tofino Hostel International, the Whalers on the Point Guest House.
It's great.
Go see their
great to be here. So the way the heats are put together here, we have 20-minute heats.
International membership every day, so come say hi to the Wendy and the ladies.
And top two surfers advance. So we'll be moving on to round two, round of 32.
Epic Pharmacy, aka Pharmasave. Come say hi to Laura. I believe we've also got, I don't know if she's still here or not. Oh, Laura's down there. Tarek and Jill have been doing all of Queen of the Peak social media.
So we're live here down at Cox Bay. So in the water we have Heat 2, Round 2 of the women's longboard. And we'll be going through all of the women's longboard in the morning here. And we got Yellow up and riding here, shuffling right up to the nose. They're getting a little stuck behind that wave there. Unfortunately, she couldn't piece anything together there, but had a couple of shuffles there and looking to try to get a decent score to drop for her. So
can't say enough for anybody on the beach. You are in Tofino and you don't need to be connected to your phone, but if you want to share Queen of the Peak,
we got Surfer in Yellow again, looking at another inside right here. It's getting bearing her nose a little bit there, and coming up short on that last one. But yeah, this is the 7th annual Queen of the Peak. Women's Surfing Championship. And yeah, I was talking to Mike Jacobson earlier, one of the contest director here, and back in 2010 when they first started, they had about 30 to 40 contestants, and now we're at about over 100. So you've definitely noticed a change in growth in this contest. We have surfer in white out the back there, shuffling a little bit up there, and yeah, so if you guys are used to longboarding, you definitely pick up a lot of speed on those boards. They're so big and they got so much surface area and such a big rail line for water to funnel down there. So I've been seeing a lot of girls kind of getting too far away from that peak there. You gotta kind of do a nice little chuck turn or a little cut back to that power spot to utilize that wave as much as you can. I know it's a lot easier said than done, but if you want to put some good scores together, that's what the judges want. They want to see all those surfers out there utilizing that wave to its full potential. So as much as they can, kind of, doing as many S turns as they can. If you can cut back to the pocket there, so much the better, and looking progressive. So we have surfer in blue out in the water here. I believe that's Isabel, looking pretty comfortable on that board. Nice little shuffle up to the nose there, and this wave is just reeling down the line here. Look at this right. Just wonderful. So you can finish it. A little kick out there. But that was a beautiful looking ride. That's probably going to be wave of the day for surfer in blue.
Thanks, Brandon, for holding down the fort here. Sorry, we're just sort of juggling beach commentating at the moment as well, just to give surfers in the water a quick update. Want to give a shout out to our judging panel here. I can confidently say this is probably the best judging panel maybe in North America. We've got contest director Shannon Brown, coach Shaza, Surfs for Reef. You can check him out in Reef's latest video, Common Ground. He makes sure that everything runs appropriately and keeps all the judges in line as far as scoring goes. On the longboard side of things, sort of the co-director just for longboard is resident longboard champion Robbie Ferguson. He resides out of Byron Bay, but pretty much is a Tofino, resident at the moment, I would say. He's working on his residency. He's Canadian through and through, but
he's been here long enough. We can call him a local.
Yeah. Going down the panel, we've got former Queen of the Peak champion Kath Breweiler, part of the epic Breweiler sort of lineage here in Tofino that helped pave the way for a lot of these people that currently surf. Beside her, we've got Peter DeVries. Probably doesn't need much of a description, but Pete, your 2009 Coldwater Classic champion, free surfer extraordinaire.
He's pretty much the unofficial mayor of Tofino.
Yeah, he is going to be seen in the new movie that him and Noah and with Ben Gulliver filming it. They've done some trips with Chippa Wilson. Chippa was just up here, so hopefully I'm really excited to see that when it comes out because Ben's work's fantastic.
Yeah, the Seawolf should be a good one.
So we've got Surfer in Blue up and riding a little bit behind the peak on this one. It's not going to make it around that section, just sort of kicks out. We've got Sets approaching the lineup, though. Let's see if anything happens here. There's about 4 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in this heat here. Let's see if we've got any takers.
We got a couple of lines approaching here for the girls here. We got Surfer in red looking at this one.
Taking a look.
Nice little drop there, and she was able to stick that
on her backhand. Oh,
getting a little too quick on that one, but
that was a runner. That had scoring potential.
Definitely some beautiful waves rolling through here. We saw a surfer earlier, Surfer in Blue. That's Isabel coming down the line on this rippable right, and she was able to ride it right to the inside. So there's
at the back, we got somebody Surfer in red actually taking a look again. She's gonna
redeem herself.
Take a look on her front side here. Gets to her feet. Nice little pop up. Nice little cross step. Cross steps back.
Pretty good on that one there.
Just cuts it back into the power. goes to bank it off the foam. Doesn't ride out of that one, but still a good score for Surfer in red.
Yeah, I love how she started off that wave there. Nice little shuffle step up to the nose there, get a little bit of speed, and I'm really liking that little cut back. We haven't really been noticing too many girls kind of cutting back to the power pocket there, and being able to utilize that wave and showing total control on your board. That's how the judges are going to come down with a pretty good score. So yeah, I really like that one from Surfer in red.
So with about 3 minutes remaining, the situation here, there has been a change. Surfer in white, you're in 4th place. You're sitting on a 6-0, and you're in need of you're comboed at the minute. You're in need of 2 scores to move into the transfer spot. In 3rd place, Surfer in yellow, you're sitting on an 8-9-0 as a 2-wave combined total. You're looking to drop a 3-0-7. To move into the transfer spot, you need an 8-0-1. In 2nd place, Surfer in blue, your 2-wave total is a 13-8-3. You're looking to drop a 6-6-7, and you need a 7-3-4 to move into 1st. And Surfer in red, you are now out front with a 7-6-7 and a 6-8-3. You need to drop a 6-8-3 to improve upon your scoreline in the next 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Pretty close heat we got.
Yeah.
Here between at least between 2nd and 3rd and 4th, all kind of 1 point differential. So it's kind of any girl's game out there to get in that transfer spot to move on ahead to round 2. Surfer in white, you're kind of carrying the way here with the total combined score of a.
It's not up yet.
It's not, okay.
Or if it is, I don't know where it is.
You guys should be straight up.
Okay.
If it's too loud, your headphones.
This one? Okay.
Perfect.
I don't know where it would be. Oh. No. I can text them in a bit.
So I just want to go down the line here and thank all
So
the
1 minute,
sponsors that have
20
been
seconds remaining.
helping this contest kind of roll through each and every year. So this is the Queen of the Peak. This is the 7th annual Queen of the Peak Women's Surfing Championship presented by Billabong. I also want to thank the organizers, Surf Sister and Shelter. So Chrissy Montgomery and Mikey Jacobson pretty much working day in and day out every single day, especially in the past couple months, making sure that everything is put together, the proper people are put in place, so this contest runs perfectly. All the sponsors are put together and making sure that they're set up and comfortable. And yeah, putting up the scaffolding tower as well. It's a bit of a mission, but yeah, want to thank those two, and also Drew Burke as well. I believe he's the head volunteer coordinator. So yeah, big shout out to all 3 of those key components to this contest. I also want to thank the Wiccan Inishin, Pacific Sands, Ocean Village, Tofino Hostel, Wild's Head Grill, Farmer Save Tofino, Nixon, Tofino Brew Co., Pilot House Media, Lisa Fletcher Jewelry, Mascon Cable. I want a big shout out to Mascon for bringing down the fiber optic to the beach here, so we're able to stream this contest live and also have live scoring. So yeah, throughout the day here, we do have live scoring, and once we kind of figure out all the kinks here, we'll be kind of overlaying the scores and people in the water on your screen, so you guys can watch it online. And also want to thank the District of Tofino as well for pretty much opening the beaches here that we can kind of storm and take over and utilize and run this contest. This year it's a three-day contest, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Right now we're currently running the women's longboard, and we'll be trying to get through as many heats as we can as possible. And yeah, the District of Tofino is just every single year. This community is just wonderful. The amount of help that everyone gives throughout the whole community here is kind of next to none. Whenever this contest kind of rolls around town or comes to town and runs, everyone kind of steps up to the plate and kind of takes pride in making sure that this contest runs smoothly, not just for the businesses and the sponsors involved, but also all the contestants and all the friends and family that are out in the water surfing. So it's great to see the district and also the community of Tofino come together and help this contest run perfectly. So, and also last but not least, Tourism Tofino, a big help as well for making this contest a success. So that last heat there was pretty action-packed there. I know it was pretty close between at least third and fourth, kind of first and second were they kind of ran away with this one, posting some pretty big scores here. So we got, just read off the last results here for, they're kind of unofficial at the moment here, just waiting for some scores, last minute scores to drop. So I'll read those scores off in just a second here. So we got Surfer in Blue at the back, looking at this beautiful looking left here. She's definitely kind of trying to stay into that pocket area, utilizing this right to the
bonus
beach
section here.
As I was saying earlier with these beach breaks, it's unpredictable. So sometimes you get a wave that kind of looks a little funky at the start, but then it can turn into a gem like Surfer in Blue just got right to the inside. So that was a beautiful looking wave for Surfer in Blue. That'll definitely help our first score to drop there. So well done. Yeah, definitely been noticing throughout the day here as we're running through these longboard. You gotta kind of make your way back to that speed pocket. Try to utilize that wave as much as you can. You know, try not to get too stuck out in front of the peak there, because then your kind of scores will be limited. But
so we got two surfers up on this one. Got Surfer in White trimming real high here. Big section in front of her. Oh, it just kind of bogs the rail, but doesn't quite ride out of that one.
Yeah, we got Surfer
Early
in
days
Yellow
in this
front
heat,
of her.
still 17 minutes left.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What a beautiful day.
I know, it looks like the sun's going to start coming out here in Tofino.
I brought down my parka expecting it was going to be cold, but it's actually pretty mild.
Yeah, it's nice.
The weather forecast for this weekend looks pretty nice. Kind of hovering around the 13, 14 degree, that's Celsius mark throughout the whole weekend. We should see a little break in the clouds, hopefully later today. There is a slight chance of rain, but being out here on the coast, it's kind of standard. You know, every single day it has the potential to do anything. But I think the forecast is supposed to hold all day today. We saw Surfer in White there with a nice floater, and being able to land that. So that's definitely going to help her scoreline there. That's Surfer in White, Emily Grubb. I believe she resides in Tofino as well. So I'll read off who we have in the water here. So Surfer in Red, we have Katie Oxford. Surfer in White, we have Emily Grubb. Oh, sorry, Kate Orford. Surfer in Yellow, Kat Leslie. And Surfer in Blue, Jessica Leach. So still plenty of time left. We have 16 minutes remaining left in Heat 3, round 1 of the women's longboard. And I see a massive set coming out the back there. This is these waves just keep coming. We have Surfer in Red having a look at this one. Surfer in Red, that's Kate Orford. Staying nice and busy there, staying high on this board. Speed lining down the wave here. Nicely done. We got Surfer in Yellow at the back there, looking at a beautiful right here, staying super busy, shuffling up, having a little bit of a bail there and kind of got off balance, but it was a beautiful exchange of waves back to back there. So we'll see still waiting for some scores to drop, but should be a couple of good ones that the judges are going to post here. So stand by for some scores. So this is the 7th annual Queen of the Peak Women's Surfing Championship. And what a beautiful day it is here down at Cox Bay. We have a nice kind of swell coming from the west, a little bit of a southwest pulse in there as well. It's about 4 or 5 feet at about 10 seconds, and it should be holding all day today. Little mix of kind of sun and cloud. It should be holding kind of all day, and it's kind of helps out the conditions here, at least at Cox Bay. Having the overcast creates these nice offshore winds, and we have winds kind of coming from the south, east, and east all day today. So we can see this beautiful set approaching here. See if anyone has a look at it and wants to give it a go. We have Surfer in Blue going left here. She had a really nice looking left earlier. See if she can make something of this one. Staying nice and high on this one. and just kind of dying out there. So yeah, this is at Cox Bay here. This is all a beach break here. So waves are definitely unpredictable, kind of always changing, but it makes it kind of fun. Instead of surfing the exact same perfect wave every single time, you kind of have to adapt your surfing a bit and kind of go with the flow and kind of stay on your toes and utilize the wave as much as you can, because especially as the conditions change, the tides come in or the tides go out, different banks start to light up, and different areas of the beach start to look good. So that's what makes it interesting surfing a beach break, is that you're always kind of adapting your surfing and kind of catering to what the beach has in store. So we'll see what these ladies can do. So we've got about 13 minutes remaining left in, this is round 1, heat 3 of the women's longboard. So yeah, in the water we're in red, we have Kate Orford. We're in white, we have Emily Grubb. In yellow, we have Kat Leslie, and in blue, Jessica Leach. I can see out the back there's some beautiful swell lines approaching here. See if any of these girls have a look at it. So we have Surfer in red out the back there looking at a beautiful right. Just got a little off balance there and couldn't quite piece that one together. But we have Surfer in blue having a look at that one. Just didn't like what she saw. Then we out the back there, Surfer in yellow on a bomb here. Just losing her balance there and kind of getting a little bit caught there. But yeah, these swell lines are looking pretty beautiful and definitely pretty rippable for these girls all day today. The swell's supposed to drop a little bit. We're kind of expecting a bit of a south swell, hopefully kind of drift in this weekend. Hopefully it's not too south and bypasses us, but we'll usually take it kind of day by day, because the conditions out here, at least up here in Canada, they're always kind of changing. So we don't really get those predominant souths that you see down in California. They kind of pick up lots of those south swells. We're up here. By the time those swell lines reach here, they kind of die off, and they're not as good. But especially this time of the year, kind of come the fall time, October, November, transition into the winter time in December, we get predominant kind of northwest swells. Big storms up in the Aleutians, up in Alaska there, kind of come hammering down, and we're kind of the first bit of land it hits. And yeah, you'll definitely see Tofino, BC change quite a bit as the conditions change. The days get shorter, the storms get bigger, the waves get bigger, and it just makes that kind of, that whole surfing aspect out here a little bit more hardcore, going out in water when it's hovering around 8 degrees Celsius with the air temp at about 3 to 4, throwing on an armor of neoprene, boots, gloves, and your hood. It's sometimes I kind of wonder why we do it, but once you get out there and you see all your friends and you're all charging and surf, especially in the wintertime when you're surfing bigger waves and seeing your buddies get up there and send it on a couple, it's definitely pretty awesome. So, and it's definitely pretty addicting. Once I'm not sure if everyone can remember their first wave, but I sure do. So, and it's stuck with it kind of ever since. And so that kind of first taste you have at surfing, and also the surf lifestyle, it's a beautiful industry to be in, and a beautiful community out here as well. Tofino has definitely kind of embraced itself as Canada's kind of surf capital. And I mean, with pristine beaches like we have here, as well as the national park, Long Beach, Wicked Beach, and Florencia Bay, it's definitely a premier spot for surfing up here in Canada, if not kind of, in Canada. I mean, on the East Coast, it's definitely quite a bit different surfing over there, a lot colder, but just the scale of it out here on the West is it's definitely pretty huge. So we have Surfer in yellow at the back there, kind of a split peak there. Surfer in blue is going left, the Surfer in yellow is going right, but we're going to stick with yellow here. Getting tons of speed there. Nice little top to bottom surfing there, and staying busy with this one. Nice little shuffle. Getting a little bit caught on that end section there, but definitely going to help her score line there. That was definitely one of her best waves of the day. So Yeah, good job, Yellow. Look at the just the scenery out here. It's Cox Bay is one of the kind of the, at least our view up here in the Judges Tower is just beautiful with the beautiful, headland to our left and Cox Bay Point there, and then Sunset Point to our right, and kind of enjoying my office for the weekend. It's a pretty ideal spot if you guys can make it down here, if you guys can tell your friends and family and whoever make it down to the beach. If you can't make it down to the beach, you can go online, and as you guys are right now, you can tell your friends and everyone to tune in. www.queenofthepeak.com. We'll be streaming this contest all weekend long. I want to thank Sports Canada TV for coming down from Vancouver there and making this live webcast happen. Last year we kind of had a trial run with them, and it turned pretty much just blew everyone out of the water of how well it was professionally done. Having multiple camera angles and having a webcast team up here as well, kind of commentating, kind of separate from the beach commentators. So it's nice to be able to bring this to your guys' living room, and I'm sure all the people in Tofino, as well as all the surfers, friends and family from all over, not all over Canada, but all over the States and Hawaii and Australia as well, that can't be here with us today. I'm sure they are appreciating this live stream. So thanks Sports Canada TV for making this happen. I believe last year we had about 8,000 or 9,000 people tune in online between the likes of queenofthepeak.com, tourismtofino.com, and surfcam.ca. So that's definitely a pretty awesome number to hit, and hopefully we can hit it a little bit, reach a little bit more people this year, because every single year as this contest grows and grows, it just gets more and more popular, and kind of more and more demand for us to step our game up, and by bringing this online, it's kind of a bit of a game changer, at least for Canadian surfing, because the contest scene up here is pretty slim. There's only a few contests a year, but as long as we can start hammering down these contests here and getting them more and more professional for not just the people on the beach and the people in town, but for the people online, that's our goal here to kind of beef up the Canadian surf scene. So yeah, and I mean, for the contest directors and organizers, Chrissy Montgomery and Mike Jacobson, and also volunteer coordinator Drew Burke, their efforts for the past 7 years has been pretty remarkable. I know if you guys have ever lived out here, it's a pretty busy area, especially come to summertime. Probably one of the busiest places in Canada. Probably see over 1 million tourists a year flood the little towns of Tofino and Ucluelet. So it's but yeah, the efforts by them every single year to help out this the surfing community is pretty remarkable. So they are definitely pretty busy. Mike working over there at Shelter and doing a few of his own things on the side, and Chrissy as well, working over at Surf Sisters, and I'm sure she has a few other side gigs, and life gets in the way as well. And yeah, living in a tourist town, life does get pretty out of control if you guys have ever lived in a tourist town. So yeah, hats off to those guys for taking all their spare time and making this contest a go. So we'll get back to live action out here. So yeah, if you guys saw at the start there, we had a pretty awesome set rolling through. So we have Surfer in White out the back there, looking at this beautiful looking left here. It's going to look like it's going to stay open for her all the way to the beach. She can utilize it properly. It's staying nice and busy on her board. We got Surfer in Blue out the back there. Surfer in White getting right back to that pocket area, and Surfer in Blue at another beautiful left at the back there. Looking pretty nice on this one. They might stay open for all the way to the beach. You can get back to that power section. That's what the judges kind of want to see, if you can link together some turns, and if you can be a little bit more progressive with your turns too. So kind of dig that rail in and throw a little bit of water up the side. That'll definitely help your score line. But two flurry of lefts that just came through are looking pretty good. So we'll see how these scores factor into their score line once the judges drop them. So just over 4 minutes remaining left in, I believe this Heat 3, round 1 of the women's longboard. We got Surfer in yellow at the back there on her backhand. A nice little takeoff there, a nice little bottom turn there, and she's getting right back. A little direction change there. See what she can do on this one. A nice little finish there. Definitely going to help her scoreline. It's definitely one of her better waves of the day here.
Round of 48, Heat 3. Top 2 surfers move into round of 32.
We got Surfer in white looking at this one here on her backhand. I believe that's Emily Grubb.
3 minutes, 30
Having a
seconds
nice looking
remaining
left
in
here.
this
See if
heat
she
here.
can stay
Current
with it.
situation, we have
Cut back right into that power section there. That's what I
fourth place surfer in red, and again,
really
this is
enjoy
unofficial
seeing the
score
surfers
following as we talk.
as these women get kind of into the later stages.
You are
If you can
needing
cut
in
back
need
to
of
that
a
power
9.8
section there,
move
see you
into
can
the
see how Emily
transfer spot.
has been doing that
Third
all
place
this wave
surfer
here,
in blue.
and enables her to stay with
currently in
the
need
wave
of
the
a
whole time instead of getting out too
9.34
far ahead of that
into
peak. And
second
in the end, it
place.
allows you to do a few more things on
In
your board
second, surfer in
and
white,
link together
you are
a few
sitting
more
on a
turns and
2:12,
maneuvers, which will
14:00. You're
obviously in the end help your
looking
scoreline.
to
So
drop a 6,
yeah,
6,
well,
7 to move into first
good
place. You
surfing
get
from
7.34.
Surfer in white
And
there.
out front, surfer in yellow, you are
That's
sitting
definitely
on
going to be a pretty
total
good
of
score. So out the back there, we have
14,
Surfer in
6,
red
7, and we just had a
on her backhand.
situation
Another
change.
left. Look at the flurries of lefts
Surfer
coming
in
through.
white is now just moved ahead
Pretty
into first
sick.
place. Surfer in yellow, you're
Just
in
got a
need of
little caught
7,
behind
6,
that
8
section
to
there,
move
but
back into first place.
it's beautiful.
So, if you want,
Great conditions today.
we can
all day
start out.
today.
If you want to do this and just like
Yeah, this
give
nice
quick
kind of
updates
predominant west swell is definitely shaping up for us right now. The tide is about a couple hours away from high tide. And yeah, the conditions are looking definitely pretty favorable for these surfers all day.
Stand-up paddlers, please move north. Non-competitors, if you're in the water.
Yeah, it's great to see kind of the
Billabong
fall
flags, this is a surf
fall
contest
time
and
kind of
you are not
come into
surfing in
play
it.
here up in Tofino, and especially when the swell kind of picks up and it gets more
There's
consistent.
lots of nice flat water out
You
at
guys can
Mackenzie
see here,
Beach.
a swell like this would be a little rare for kind of summertime. But I believe just from talking to people at the beach here, Cox Bay has definitely been a pretty fun spot to surf all summer long. And usually the beach down here itself, just the way it's structured, is kind of acts like a bit of a funnel here. So you know, the banks get pretty good here. Lots of swell gets funneled here, predominantly those west swells and those northwest swells. As they come in here, they kind of break up the beach a bit. There's a few different banks. There's kind of one right in front of the judges tower here, and one a little bit to the left there, and then you have way at the very south end of the beach there, there's another place you can surf, and also of course the infamous Cox Bay corner there on the right. So plenty of peaks out here, and that's the beauty of a beach break. It's so unpredictable and so kind of all over the place. You can always kind of find your own little section and surf. So yeah, definitely kind of ground zero to contest surfing in Canada here at Cox Bay. No stranger to having a surf contest here. You can, if you guys remember, well, this contest here has been coming around here for about 7 years, and also kind of in the end of June or end of May, kind of start of June. There's
So
the
30
Rip Curl
seconds
Pro.
remaining in this heat.
So we have Surfer in Blue. Sorry to get back to live action here. Surfer in Blue on her backhand, looking pretty good on this beautiful looking right here. See what she can do here. Getting a little bit off balance there, but sticking it together. Nice little ejection at the end there, but yeah, these flurry of waves are still rolling through, and they are looking perfect. I know the judges out here are giving a couple little hoots and hollers to these surfers. It's definitely those set waves that have been rolling through. Definitely pretty sizable.
Down, 5, 4, 3,
Kind of pushing the
2,
chest to shoulder
1.
high on those sets, if not for some of the surfers, kind of head high. So
that's the end of the round of 48, heat 3. We are moving into heat number 4. Come on. Shaz ready?
So we're just counting down here to start heat 4.
Shaz ready? Counting down. 3, 2,
And
1.
once I kind of get results from heat 3, I'll read them out to you guys
That's
online.
The start of round of 48, heat 4. We have Surfer in red, Devora Reeves.
So that horn there that just rang starts the start of Heat 4, round 1. So surfers out in the water here wearing red. We have Devora Reeves. In
Surfer
white,
Romy Unger.
we have Romy Unger.
Surfer in yellow, Eliza Paul. And
In
wearing
surfer
blue,
in yellow,
Kristen
Eliza
O'Keefe.
Paul. And surfer in blue, Kristen O'Keefe.
If you ever want to mute it.
And if you guys look at the back, there's a pretty sizable set coming out the back to see if any of the girls are in position for this set wave here. Wow. Look at these swell lines here, just kind of breaking kind of on that outer bank there. See if it'll kind of create a face on the inside, but like down the beach there, that wave that just rolled through. A beautiful looking swell there. Well, the girls just cut a little bit on the inside there, but yeah. So the way these heats are formatted, 20-minute heats. Top 2 surfers advance. So kind of unofficial scores here from Heat 3 here. Yeah, like I said, they're kind of unofficial. So in 4th place, wearing red. She had a 4.83 and a 2.50 with a combined score of 7.33. Surfer in blue in 3rd place with a 4.67 and a 3.83 with a combined total score of 8.50. So top 2 surfers advancing. So surfer in yellow in 2nd place with an 8.17 and a 7.27 with a combined score of 15.43. And then surfer in white taking a heat just narrowly with an 8.50 and a 7.33. So a combined score of a 15.83. So a couple of scores getting dropped in the excellent range. And got Mikey J back here.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. Thanks for holding down the fort.
That was a pretty awesome heat there. Definitely seeing these sets kind of grow and grow throughout the day and putting up some pretty good contestable swell for the girls.
Yeah, I'm super stoked on the conditions. It's definitely bigger today than I thought it was going to be, and couldn't ask for better contest conditions. This is awesome. That last heat, it was just, I think a hint of things to come too. It's only round 1, and there is some excellent longboarding going on. So can't wait to get into the business rounds in the next few days. I guess a little, sort of story building, if you will. We last year we crowned longboard champion Melee Sally out of California. She didn't make the trip up to the contest this year, so there will be a new longboard champion, which is kind of exciting. So this is surfer in white up and riding. Quick couple pumps, stays high. Nice little fade down to build some speed.
Looking very busy on this
stylish
wave
too. Yeah, nice pumps. Hopefully she hits that section. No, decides to just try and straighten out, but doesn't quite ride out of that one. Early days in this heat, 16 minutes remaining still.
I feel looking pretty busy on that wave there. I was liking how she was kind of moving up and down the wave there and utilizing as much as she can. And instead of kind of just kind of streamlining down the face there, it'll definitely help her score line once the judges kind of come up with the score to drop. But yeah, as this day goes on, I think the swell is supposed to hold kind of all day. This predominant kind of west swell with an underline, I believe a southwest, 5 feet at 10 seconds all day. And hopefully the winds will kind of hold off as well. We got surfer in red out the back there, looking on this beautiful right. Just got a little crunch on that one there. So we have surfer in yellow looking at this one here. Beautiful looking right. Just got a little off balance there and couldn't pull it together. But if you guys look out the back there, there's sets approaching. See if anyone's in position to take advantage of this set.
Second place surfer in yellow with a 15.43. Third place surfer in blue with an 8.50.
So surfer in blue out the back there. Taking off in a pretty sizable wave there. It just got a little stuck at the top and couldn't put it together and make that drop, but girls are probably frothing out there. These waves are looking pretty awesome and should hold all day.
The 15-minute mark here in Heat 4. We have White leading it away.
So we got Alan Pearson up in the booth with us here. We've in years past have juggled the live feed and also the PA announcing. So if you hear stuff in the background, Alan's on the PA for us this year. Alan joining us. He's an employee at Pacific Surf School. Fantastic young man, and stoked to have him as a part of Queen of the Peak as well.
Get a little head there.
Yeah, I don't understand how Alan is
Coming in
always
the third
smiling and always in a
place
good
on
mood
the
every single
C4 is
time
Red.
I see him. You guys
Golden
always
Wave total
brings
of
a stoke wherever you are,
three.
and yeah, pretty awesome dude. So if you guys get a chance, come down to the beach and say hello to Alan. It's pretty rad having him on board here this year. Definitely nice to see some new faces kind of come up and step up and help out with the contest, and you know, lets us kind of have a break and let our voice kind of chill out for a bit. I know talking all day, you guys think it may be easy, but it's gets pretty intense after a while trying to sit here and fill dead air. But it's fun, you know, like having a
Got to find the rhythm. It's day one. It always takes a day to get sorted and get everything up and running. But yeah, we're ahead of schedule, and it's going to be a really, really good year. I'm excited for this weekend.
Yeah, it's great how it's 3 days. You know, it just shows how every single year this contest gets better, and having 3 days that you know can allow more contestants and allow for more heats to run. It's definitely the best way to run a kind of a contest, to have more days instead of kind of cramming it in and not allowing as many days competitors as you can. So we have Surfer in yellow looking at this left here. See if she can get around that foam ball there. She's got a nice little inside section for her there, staying pretty busy on her board. Just couldn't quite finish it, but a nice looking wave for Surfer in yellow. Yeah, this nice little swell line approaching us out the back here. See if any surfer can utilize this wave. And it's a little bit of a quiet heat here. Not too much action, but definitely we've seen a couple of waves come through that are probably going to be dropping some pretty high scores. So we'll kind of stand by for some score results.
So we've got the Twitter feed up here as well. So if anybody out there is watching, tag at Queen of the Peak in Twitter, and yeah, if you have a question, feel free to send it to Brendan and I, and we'll get on the Twitter sphere and answer. Thanks to Kyler at SBC Surf there. He just broadcasts to everybody that, yeah, we are live on queenofthepeak.com. SBC Surf is relaunched. Super stoked to have that magazine up and going. Kyler's going to be down on the beach here. Yeah, it's great to have
These non-competitors
Canadian
get out of
surfing
the competition area. Move
represented
north,
via
get
magazines
out of
again.
the
So
competition area. This
big
is a
thanks to
very
Kyler for working
serious
hard on
time
that.
for these
Yeah, it's
ladies
great to
out
see
there.
SBC kind of back on
Coming
the
out there, so
back on the
out
block.
of
You
the
know, they've been
competition
a kind of a staple in Canadian surfing for so long, and it was a bit of a kind of a downer when they kind of stopped. But having Kyler at the helm and reviving SBC and having it giving it a fresh look and a whole new kind of vibe about the magazine, it's good to see, because there's not too many, you know, magazines or media sources that kind of forecast or showcase Canadian surfing.
No, it's kind of the one and only. So stoked to have him leading the charge, and I don't know, Kyler's great. The friendly giant. Congratulations to Kyler and Jamie. They just recently got married, and yeah, the surf media in Canada is in good hands with Kyler heading the SBC surf ship up.
Yeah,
that was a mouthful. SBC surf ship. So a little situation update in the water here. We've got we're in round of 48, heat 4. So round 1, heat 4. Early days in the heat. We've still got 10 minutes 50 seconds remaining in the heat. Surfer in Blue still looking to throw a second wave into her score line. Currently out front, Surfer in White sitting on a 2-wave total of a 12.50, and in second place, Surfer in Yellow is sitting on a 7.50. So in the water right now, we have Surfer in Red, that's Devora Reeves. Surfer in White is Romy Unger, and Surfer in Yellow, Eliza Paul. Surfer in Blue, Kristen O'Keefe.
so that's Surfer in White, Romy Unger.
Nice little stylish pump. Nice low stance. Section kind of just falls in front of her there, but rides out of that one. Whoa, that was a bit of a claim.
Little styly ejection there from is it Romy?
I believe it's Romy
Romy
Unger.
Unger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if the judges. I'm not sure if they factored claims into helping your scoreline.
I don't I don't think they do, but it's not going to hurt. I mean, the whole
You definitely see it on the WSL scale if you're ever watching it and someone kind of throws down a bit of a claim. It kind of,
how do you feel about claiming?
I mean, I don't mind it.
Just
don't overdo it.
Yeah,
You know,
you kind of hear them talk about it on the WSL, and it's like, you definitely don't want to be throwing a claim down when you're dropping a 6. But when
I mean, I can understand if it's in a critical point of the heat and you're needing a score, and we kind of saw that at Trussell's. You know, there's a lot of upsets at that the last WSL contest and down at Trussell's, California. But it was, throwing a bit of a little claim or a little finger snap or something like that. Shows that you're pretty stoked on your score and you're thinking you deserve it. But I mean, when you kind of overdo that whole thing, it kind of kills the sport a bit. But when there's people that don't usually do it, like when John throws a claim, he's done something good, and he's kind of wanting to score. So
the John hair whip,
yeah,
kind of no claim. I don't know. I actually really like it. I think it gets the fans involved. If anytime you get a good wave, I don't surf 1/10 as well as those guys, and when you get a good wave, it feels good, and you kind of want to throw your hands in the air. So I think it's good for the sport. I like it, but yeah.
I kind of it's understandable because Brazilians are definitely infamous for claiming, but those guys day in and day out, especially when they're competing at such a high level, they throw so much passion and dedication and time and effort to surfing, and so
it's not only just the heat. It's their paycheck.
It's their paycheck, day-to-day life, and so the more stoked they can throw in it, the better. But
So speaking of paychecks, there is money on the line here at Queen of the Peak. Longboard division gets a hand-shaped board by Stefan Aftanas, our local shaper. Support your local shapers. We'll talk a little bit about Aftanas boards in a sec, but you're going to get a board from Stefan as well as, I believe, $500 cash. And then, in the shortboard division, it's $2,000. So I believe it's the largest women's prize purse north of Southern California. And hopefully if this contest continues to grow in years to come, we will see bigger and bigger prize purse.
$2,000.
$2,000 to first.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So
pay off a couple bills. Your bar tab on Sunday night.
Yeah. Or you go on a trip, hopefully. The shortboard division is going to be super interesting this year. We have a bunch of returning champions. Okay, we got Surfer in Yellow up and riding. This wave looks like it might double up. If she can connect this through to this inside sandbar, no, it doesn't quite make it, and it just in front of her begins to hit the sandbar and double up.
We're kind of seeing that high tide kind of funk there. There's kind of an outside sandbank, kind of with a little bit of a lull, and there's an inside sandbank. We saw a couple surfers earlier utilize that inside bank, and so yeah, if you can stay with that wave, I mean, Mike, there's definitely some waves out there where you can get some pretty good scores.
Yeah, the inside bars here at Cox Bay have been pretty good at high tide recently, so I think as the day pushes on here, bit of a paddle battle. There's Surfer in blue, sort of comes from behind the peak, gets out in front of that one. Oh,
got a little stuck on that wave there, a little ejection off her board, but
Surfer in red, winding up the windows. That was a big section, came crashing down. So there's about 6 minutes left. Surfer in Yellow on an inside left here. This got a nice wall, super steezy drop, but
didn't really like what you saw there.
Good exchange. All four surfers in the water, getting a wave.
Yeah, it's been like this kind of all morning so far. Just swell lines after swell lines, and it's great to see this ocean kind of come alive. I know we are kind of going into surf month here in Tofino, and it's kind of one of my favorite kind of times of the year here at Queen of the Peak. It's kind of the mark of the surf season, as you say. That
yeah, really kind of kicks it off.
I mean, they're surfing all year round. That's the beauty of this place, is that you can surf kind of all year round, fall, winter, spring, summer. But
yeah, and it's funny. We probably don't appreciate that enough. Like there is waves almost every day here, and I was down in California in August, and it was really good for a few days, and then it went totally flat. So got Surfer in white up and riding on her backhand. Nice looking left, nice little tapered wall in front of her.
Ew, looking a little steezy on that one, cutting right back to that foam ball.
Yeah.
And we haven't really been seeing too much of that lately here, Mike, is those girls kind of cutting back to that pocket. And we saw it earlier in I believe it was Heat 3. a couple of surfers were cutting right back to that foam ball, and kind of just leads you into having a lot better of a scoring potential on a wave if you can stay in that pocket, because that's where that speed is kind of getting generated from. And if you can stay close to that and kind of S-turn your way back there, you'll definitely have a pretty beautiful wave to kind of get a good score for the judges. So we haven't really been seeing too much of that lately, but I'm sure we'll see some pretty good surfing in the later part of the contest here. But
yeah, you and for anybody watching online that is maybe a bit unfamiliar with surfing, it's really difficult to move around a longboard. It does make it easier to get into waves. Obviously, it's harder to paddle out, but you're not going to be able to see the same sort of radius of turning that you would on a shortboard. So
yeah,
these big longboards are hard to turn around. So as we move through the heats and you actually see some of the women, step on the tail and really pivot the board around, it's very impressive, and it's difficult to do.
Yeah, it's definitely, for us sitting back here, it's a lot easier said than done. But it's longboarding is definitely a different style of surfing here. It's not so fast and dynamic and aggressive as you see when you watch shortboard contests and shortboard surfing. But especially for catching waves and kind of getting up, longboarding is definitely the easier way to go. So if any of you beginner surfers out there want to learn how to surf, grab a longboard, get out there. It's and you can still have fun in any size swell when it's ankle high, knee high, all the way up to kind of head high overhead. I know I've definitely surfed a few waves on a longboard in some pretty sizable swell here at Cox Bay and as well down at the Wick, and it's definitely pretty awesome when you can drop in on a pretty sizable wave and have this big log underneath your feet, and you get ripping. But yeah, if you're any of you beginners out there, just grab a longboard. There's no sense trying to go too small too quick. It's definitely surfing's definitely a pretty tricky sport. Lots of trial and error, and but as long as you kind of have the right board under your feet for your right kind of skill level, kind of the sky's the limit for growth. That's the beauty of surfing, is that you're learning new stuff every single day. And we have surfing right out the back there on her backhand, staying nice and high there. She's got a beautiful looking left if she can get cut back to that power source there.
Oh, there we go.
Linking a nice turn there. And jumping off her board there. That was a pretty nice looking turn there. And
yeah. Sun's coming out. We got Leonard Lighthouse in the background there. Just saw Adam Chilton on the beach. Adam Chilton, again, is going to put together some videos for us. Hopefully we'll sort of show some of those videos throughout the day for you. We're, again, just trying to get our live feet underneath us. We actually we did something fun. I haven't told you this yet, but Shelter did a Cox Bay breakdown with Peter and Adam. So
video breakdown?
No, of the break itself. So kind of like the WSL has their GoPro breakdown. We've got the Shelter Cox Bay breakdown.
Wow.
So hopefully we'll see that. Maybe
who's
tomorrow.
that by? Pete DeVries?
Adam filmed it. Pete's walking us through it. I mean, who better to walk you through?
Yeah, I was going to say, if you guys don't really know who that guy is, you kind of give yourself a smack in the face, because he's kind of the face of Canadian surfing and has been for quite a few years. You get definitely a pretty staple part of this whole industry, and I believe it was back in 2009 when he took that Covenant Coldwater Classic title when O'Neill came to the beaches here in Tofino, and against all odds, 6-star event, ASP at the time sanctioned event, and Pete DeVries, local favorite and hometown hero, was able to defeat the world as they came to the beaches here. And he had the likes of Josh Kerr and John Florence, and Jay Bottle Thompson was actually in the finals with Pete that one year, and Pete was able to battle his way, stuck to his game plan that he had, and took it home for Tofino. And I believe that was kind of the turning of the tide for the surf industry here in Canada. It kind of put Tofino on the map as a pretty premier destination to come surfing. I mean, lots of people probably don't have it as their first spot to come surf due to the weather, the temperature of the water, and the style of waves. You know, there's not too many point breaks here, but we do have quite a bit of beach break. We have probably one of the longest beaches here, at least in Canada here. The stretch between Wickeninish Beach all the way to the north end of Long Beach there. It's about a 17 or 20 kilometer stretch of beach there, and then once you get down here into Tofino, Cox Bay is a pretty premier destination to surf as well. When the waves get really good here and the swells here, it can be some pretty awesome waves. So yeah, back of that 2009 Cold Water Classic win, it kind of boosted the surf industry in Canada and hasn't really stopped. We've kind of carried that momentum on and on throughout the years, and every single year it just seems to be kind of the spot to come surf. And the towns are getting busier and the towns are getting bigger, which is great. And it's great to see the kind of switching of the tides of industries out here, where kind of surfing's kind of taken a hold of the forefront of kind of the tourism industry out here. So it's a pretty wonderful sport. If you guys haven't tried it, grab a board and get out there. And there's tons of surf shops around town, not just in Tofino but down in Euclid as well. And yeah, it's definitely a pretty awesome sport, because once you get that first wave under your belt, you kind of have that bug, and it's kind of hard to get rid of it. I know I kind of got it when I first moved out here when I was about 16, and kind of caught I believe I caught my first wave when I was about 18, and haven't really looked back. Been here ever since, so it's definitely a pretty fun sport, and it's pretty healthy in your body too. You know, it's not quite the same as snowboarding or skateboarding. You know, the injuries aren't that big. But we have Surfer in White out the back there, the beautiful looking left there. It's definitely gonna probably help out her scoreline there. Red in third with a 6.93. I'll just stand by. I'll just look for a list here so we can read off some names for you guys.
Talk with Brendan. So all you do, Brendan will show you. But
so right now in the water we have Surfer in Red. That's Kate Wilson. And Surfer in White we have Natalia Crouchy. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Surfer in Yellow, Kathy DeRocher, and Surfer in Blue we have Sari Bathgage. So yeah, we've got about 17 minutes remaining left in this heat, and yeah, there's definitely tons of swell out there. And I believe I got my main man Alan Pearson. He's live with me. Alan, how you feeling, buddy?
I'm feeling very, very good there, Dino. Thank you so much for bringing me onto the show.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you. It's definitely it's pretty fun out here when you can sit out here and commentate all these girls here as they surf. And I mean, having the likes of you kind of join us here is great. You want to kind of be in the staple of a pretty awesome surf school here, Pacific Surf School. If you guys haven't heard about it or seen Alan before, stop by Pacific Surf School. He's running the ship over there. So
well,
yeah.
I do my best. Absolutely. You're too kind. Really, it's a great day out here. The sun is it's starting to come out. It's starting to get hot on the beach. We're starting to see people take their jackets off, enjoying the weather.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like this kind of all weekend. It's kind of a pretty mellow forecast. We got 13, 14 degrees every single day, and kind of mix of sun and clouds. It's kind of your ideal fall kind of surf day.
Absolutely. This is where Tofino really comes to flourish. So with the greens and the grays all come out when the sun's out.
Yeah,
The
we
water.
definitely had a pretty awesome kind of end of summer, fall kind of for weather and for swell.
Also on the beach with us, we've got
Super important question coming in. What do you want?
giving away some prizes, so go say hi to the hostel. Beside them, just
But yeah, this fall's been turning into a pretty awesome kind of season here with the swell approaching. I mean, Alan, you're living down here in Tofino. I'm kind of residing down in Ucluelet, but Cox Bay, it's been pretty good lately.
Yeah, it really has. The sandbars were beautifully shaped all through the summer season, and with this new pulse of swell we have coming through, we're really seeing some great faces, peeling waves. Really something for the ladies to play on, and we're getting to see it. They're showcasing it for us right now.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this contest, having it kind of held in October when the swell is really good. Compared to some other contests that happen out here, it's always fun to watch, and I know the girls and the competitors appreciate it. Actually having some waves to surf.
Oh yeah, here we go. We got Ryder in blue and red up on a wave. Ooh. A little bit of a fall there, but that was still good driving in. It looks like there's a bit of current out there, really pulling to the north end. Ladies having to battle that.
Yeah, I know, Alan, you're kind of the guy behind the teaching everyone out here how to surf. For current-wise and riptide-wise, how does all that work at a beach break?
Well, you know, we have this beautiful longshore current as the water moves in. It's really lazy, so it needs to find a path of least resistance. And how it does that is it moves towards the headlands. So right from the middle, pushes out to the sides, and right now it looks like we are getting a beautiful, beautiful, intense current going all the way towards Sunset Point. And you know, the ladies are going to have to fight that to try to stay in between the competition flags here and get on those peaks. So there's a beautiful sandbar right in front of us. But as that water starts to flow to the side, it hits that headland or it finds a nice deep trench, and it just starts to flow back out to the open ocean. Almost imagine like a river.
Yeah.
Filling it back up.
Yeah, and so it definitely, I mean, I've always found that cross-shore or the longshore current is always kind of the silent kind of killer. Everyone kind of worries about a riptide, and they kind of panic about a riptide. But I mean, if you can stay ahead of the game and know what's going on with that cross-shore or longshore current and pick a little landmark on the beach, it's kind of pretty easy to stay out of a riptide.
Yeah, it sure is. You know, it's one of those things that people don't really think too much when they get in the water. They get very tunnel vision. They don't see a very broad spectrum, but those rip currents are pretty easy to see. Nice ripply area compared to beside will be smooth, hard surface. There might be sand turned up in that one area where the rip current is. And there's just hard, the waves can't break there. They don't want to break there. It's deep water. They're not happy.
So if any beginner surfers are out there listening, what do you do if you ever get stuck on one?
Well, first, you don't panic. You stay calm. You take a couple nice deep breaths. You look at the beach.
Think happy thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. Because nothing wrong is going to happen. You got that wetsuit on. You're attached to a surfboard. You have all the power that you need, and you just have to look at the beach, get your board parallel with the beach, and just start to paddle sideways. You don't want to paddle against it. Mike Phelps couldn't beat that current, so we're going to let that be and just paddle sideways. There you'll find yourself in that area where it's no longer choppy or sand turned up into it. It will be nice and smooth. Once you get there, you can breathe, relax, set yourself up, point your nose straight on in, and then start to paddle. You'll get yourself to safety.
And I know that if any kind of intermediate surfers are listening, you can always use that rip as your advantage too if you want to get out past the break instead of sitting there kind of head first and head on with those lines of white. You know, jump in a rip, it'll pull you right out, and then you can just paddle sideways and get out of there. So it can be your friend, and it also can be your enemy.
Absolutely. You know, if you use that rip well, you know, you should be able to get out the back without getting your hair wet. That's the goal. That should really always be the goal, to get out there. Because you do that, it means you use no energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you're out the back. You got tons of energy. You're ready to go. You're ready to paddle into those waves. You got the power, and you're catching more waves instead of spending the time just to get out there. And that can be really the big difference between the people who takes a surf lesson and those who don't. Because
Exactly.
you can't know that on your own.
Yeah.
Those are things you need to go to school. It's okay to go to school. Stay in school, kids. Like, learn something in the ocean. Staying safe.
So we got surfers out the back there. We have a surfer in white. If you guys can see on the screen there. got a couple of flurry of waves there that were kind of going back and forth. These waves are looking pretty good.
Sure, it seems like they're breaking on a little closer in right now. Just as this tide comes a little higher, they're breaking on that inside sandbar. Seem to line up a lot better than they were about 10 minutes ago.
And I always find that when you're surfing a beach break, it kind of, your surf knowledge definitely kind of increases because, you know, waves are never the same. I mean, you do have some defined peaks out there that eventually do start working, but the waves are never the same. They're always changing. You're always adapting your surfing. You know, switching your speed up, you know, utilizing the wave, and it's never the same. So I feel like if you grow up in an area with predominant beach break, I mean, you can see it with 11-time world champion Kelly Slater. He grew up in Florida, and I mean, surfing funky, not perfect waves all the time definitely.
Yeah, that beach he grew up on, it's hard to see how we got a world tour champion of 11 times from that beach. I don't know if we'll see too many of those come out of that spot ever again, but but here, you know, we have some rising stars that will be in the Queen of the Peak, I do believe, and the Princess of the Peak.
Yeah, we have, if you guys have heard of her, the likes of Matea Olin. She was just coming back off a trip into to Portugal at the the Visla World Juniors there. And she did pretty well. She placed the highest a Canadian has ever placed ever in an international contest, making the quarterfinals. Unfortunately, got a little stuck in that quarterfinals and couldn't quite make it through. I was just talking to Coach Shannon Brown earlier, and yeah, he was saying definitely wasn't one of her better heats. She definitely could have gone a little bit farther, but still, I mean, making it to the quarterfinals is pretty awesome, especially when you're competing against the world.
Hey, we just got our first comment. People are saying the live feed's great.
Oh, we just got a beautiful little message coming up to saying that the live feed is looking great, hearing great, and that makes us feel good. We're really having a good time up here, relaying what's happening live for you guys. So if you're sitting down at home enjoying this on your computer, on your TV.
Yeah, let us know.
Join us on Twitter, absolutely.
Yeah, join us on Twitter. You can hit us up at Queen of the Peak. You can also, if you're down here at the beach, you can socialize with us by hashtagging Queen of the Peak as well with any photos you take and post on Instagram or on Twitter. So don't be afraid to get social with us. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit us up on Twitter, or you can text them to Alan or I, and we'll try to answer them if you'd like.
Absolutely.
I know I just got a text message from Chuck and Gina down at Long Beach Surf Shop saying that my voice sounds sexy, so appreciate that, guys.
Woo. It does sound sexy. It's great to be right beside you.
Yeah, it's great that that you wanted to come out and help out, Alan. I know it's a bit of a funky kind of trying to get used to talking on a mic, but you know, once you find your rhythm and your roll, can't stop.
Can't stop. Well, it makes me feel easier. My heart isn't racing as much as it was sitting beside you, having your beautiful smile and those beautiful blue eyes looking at me.
I know.
But let's get to the competition a little bit here, and let's talk about who is in this heat and how they are doing. So right now, out in this round 1, heat 5, we have Kate Wilson in red. We have Natalia Karawi. I'm going to say this wrong, and I'm sorry, because I'm not very good at last names.
It's okay, I said it wrong as well. But
that's all right. Natalia in white, and then we have Kathy in yellow, and Siri in blue here. So great little heat here. We have seen quite a different bit of styles of surfing from these ladies so far, and it seems a bit of a tight heat, actually.
Yeah, there hasn't really been too many big scores being posted. I mean, I know in the earlier heats as that tide was a little bit not as high. Those banks, those outside banks, were definitely lighting up and having some pretty rippable waves. But as this tide starts to fill in, that outside bank's probably going to start shutting down, and this inside bank is going to start working. And inside bank looks like a little bit waves are a little bit smaller and they're a little bit faster. But I don't know, Alan, throughout the day here and the different changing tides, what's been the premier kind of time to come surf down here at Cox Bay?
It really has been that high tide, and then also that low. We're really lucky with the way this bay has been shaped. We've had some south swell hitting the north end and getting some beautiful rights come in. The sandbar we're really focusing on right now is getting a beautiful ride, rider in white. We're going down the line, holding it.
That's probably the best wave we've seen all heat there. That was Surfer in white. That was, just 1 second here. Natalia Crowd.
It's
sorry.
a hard one. It's
I'm
a hard
really
one.
sorry.
And we're really sorry that we, we're not the best with the last names, but Natalia, great wave you just had there. We'll tell you the score once it drops for us.
We got Surfer in red looking at this wave here. Just unfortunately, just getting a little bit fat on her. But yeah, I assume as this tide starts to fill in here, and once it hits high tide, these waves are going to be getting a little bit softer. We can see the surfers kind of have shifted to the north end of the beach here. We have Surfer in red up and riding here. That's Kate Wilson. Nice looking right there.
And she finishes it off. This is a competition, and it's really hard to go out in the water and change your mindset if you've done a lot of free surfing and then jumping right into that competition world. You can't just sit anywhere. You need to be in the spot at all times looking to get those waves, to get those scores. This is for fun, but at the same time, there is going to be some winners out there. So, as this tide starts to shift in, the ladies are going to get a little more focused on the inside bar. But this heat right here, we do have some tricky ones. So it looks like it's going to build up and break on the outside, and then it just fattens out when it hits that inside channel and then reforms on the inside and gets us these fast, movable lefts and rights. So it's more about getting closer to the beach, where the previous heats, they weren't able to do that. They were sitting really far out there looking for those big waves. But now we got some inside rider in red going right into it. That's a fall. But what we have here right now, just give you guys some numbers to look at. We have, for the two wave totals, really the rider in white and yellow are battling it out between each other. Rider in yellow with a 3.83 and a very close second wave score for her with a 3.43. Rider in white here has really got some high wave here, 6.5. What do you think takes to get that kind of a score there, Brendan?
Let's see, she's got there a 6. Yeah, so a 6 is kind of in the 6.5. That's in the kind of the good range for judging criteria. So yeah, so I feel like what the judges are looking for when you're posting kind of 6s there is, and you definitely shown a commitment and a degree of difficulty on that wave. I mean, there's definitely some room for improvement, but yeah, as long as you can show a variety of maneuvers out there and kind of utilize the wave as much as you can, kind of cutting back to the power pocket of the wave there, and also kind of utilizing as much as your board as possible, you'll definitely be getting some pretty good scores. So yeah, so some judging criteria that if you guys are watching online and you guys are competing in a little bit, in the later part of the day here, the judges analyze the following major elements when they're scoring a wave. So the commitment and the degree of difficulty for your wave. So kind of the size of the wave plays a big factor in the score you're going to get, and also the degree of difficulty. So if you're doing some pretty radical maneuvers, so if you're mixing it up a bit, late drops, going up and down the line, running up and down your board, that's what another big thing. The use of footwork on your board is key. It also shows a lot of control when you're longboarding if you can run up and down your board.
Yeah, you're not strapped in like you are on a snowboard, and you do want to use as much of that board as possible. It feels pretty sweet. I've maybe done it once or twice in my day to get up to that nose and get away from it. And I've been hearing a lot of the girls on the beach talking about, wanting to get up there quick as fast as they can and then stick it on the ride out. With that finishing maneuver, it seems to be a very key maneuver to finish off your waves. You gotta do some sort of finishing maneuver to ride straight away, and that's what the judges are looking for. The judges want to see commitment, follow through, and
we've definitely noticed with those higher scores that have been posted earlier, those finishing maneuvers, just kind of a good way to kind of cap off your wave and kind of show the judges that you've been in control the whole time, and get in those good scores. You kind of need a decent finishing maneuver to get those up into that 8 to 10 range there, that excellent range.
Ooh,
So
look at these lines come in. Big waves coming on through. Sorry to cut you off there, Brendan. That is just, look at these. Look at these lines. I hope someone's going to get something.
see if any of these girls can kind of pick off one of these shoulders here. All of them seem to be a little bit out of position, but surfers to the north end of the beach here may have an open face here to work with.
Absolutely. Looks like a left is rolling up for them. What do we have here? Rider in
I think
Rider
it's
in
surfer in blue.
paddling hard. Unlucky, just didn't seem to stand up for her there.
That's Siri, surfer in blue. Unfortunately, got a little bit caught behind that wave there, but still, the ocean is still staying alive for us there, Alan. And it's supposed to be staying like this all day.
Ooh, there goes. There goes the heat. Let's see what the judges will do at the final drop to see where everyone's lined up.
Number 5, stand by for
For
results.
round 1, heat 5.
Heat number 6.
Heat number 6 is just about to start here. Awesome. All right, so ladies, getting ready. Some new lines coming in. In just a second, we will tell you who's going to walk away with getting into the next round.
So the next heat in the water we have right now is heat 6, round 1 of the women's longboard. Surfer in red, we have Lindsay Henwood. Surfer in white, we have Jillian Montgomery. In yellow, we have Robin Van Gwyn, or Jin. And in blue, we have Carrie Lachlan out in the water. Yeah, looks like they should have some pretty contestable swell throughout their whole heat. I mean, this ocean is definitely staying alive for us. And it should be kind of staying alive all day here. We have surfer in yellow looking at this beautiful looking left here. That's Robin Van Gwyn.
There she goes, up
and down.
So results are in.
Big closeouts there. Lots of power in this whitewater.
From heat 5.
We've got
In 4th
a
place,
couple more
surfer in
lines
blue.
coming through here.
In 3rd place with a 5.27, surfer in red. Advancing into the round of 32, surfer in yellow with a 2-way.
So Dino, I know on the Big World Tour where they have priority. Are we doing priority today?
I don't believe so. No, in these 4-man heats, I believe it's kind of a free-for-all. I mean, the priority, the interference rule is in effect. So the way interference works, so if kind of the surfer that's kind of closest to the peak, so that the spot of the wave that has the most kind of power, kind of has the right of way, and there's kind of like that unwritten kind of gentleman's code or rule where anyone kind of farther down on the shoulder has to give the kind of right of way to that surfer, because if that surfer is closest to the peak and she's taken off, she's going to be going the fastest, and she's kind of first in line. So if you do interfere with that person's wave, you will have an interference. So one of your highest scores will be chopped in half. So I mean, it's a pretty tough task to come back and when you get an interference called on you. But we've seen it before. I mean, on the WSL scale, we saw Gabriel Medina. I don't know if it was Trussels, but one of the contests before, he did have an interference call, but he was still.
I think, yeah.
Was it Trussels? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was still able to kind of pull through and win his heat. So, I mean, it doesn't affect you totally, but it is a bit of a morale kind of crusher if you do interfere with someone and, in that one of your top waves is getting cut in half. But yeah, that's kind of all of these girls out there they all have kind of lots of mutual respect for each other. And I mean, you do see interferences once in a while, especially as, like Mikey Jacobson said, there's $2,000 on the line for the winners of the shortboard. And
a lot of bucks.
When that kind of money's on the line, it's anyone's kind of game. And I mean, I believe we may be playing the priority rule later in the contest, kind of towards the finals. But that's up to the head judge, Shannon Brown. Once we get kind of some more information about that, we'll let you know. So surfers in the water here. This is heat 6, round 1 of the women's longboard. We're in red. That's Lindsay Henwood from Tofino. In white, we have Jillian Montgomery. In yellow, Robin Van Gwyn. And in blue, Carrie Lachlan. See if I can find some info
Yeah.
for you guys about these girls here.
Lindsay Henwood has spent quite a bit of time down in California. She was living up here full time for quite a while, and then she went for the warmer water in California, the beautiful point breaks of it all. And she travels up here quite a bit. I think she is doing some work in Vancouver. And yeah, hopefully, you know, I try to stay very unbiased, but she is a good friend of mine, and I do hope that she gets through this round. She does have some great style. She is against some very serious competitors, though, so you know it's not going to be a cakewalk for her. She will have to surf well, you know.
Oh, the big man Kyler Voss going for
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, it's definitely no cakewalk out here as the level of surfing gets better and better every single year. Lots of these girls are having their kind of money out there for them. It's like the level of women surfing out here has just kind of increased throughout the years. It's awesome to watch because, I mean, it's kind of great to see girls kind of surf better than the majority of the guys in town.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's traveling around the world. You do not get to surf with this many women. And they're just not in the water, unfortunately, and that is a big reason why this competition is this competition. You know,
Exactly.
it's all about the women today, and
all
they
weekend
deserve
long.
it.
Yeah, it's great. It's. I mean, the amount of effort and time and money, you know, that Mikey Jacobson and Chrissy Montgomery and Drew Burke have kind of put into this contest throughout the years. It's definitely just going to show, you know, in the 7th year of this contest, the scale of it and also the kind of professionalism that comes around this contest is kind of next to none when it comes to at least contests in Canada.
Absolutely, there's no contest that can even contest with this one. I would say there's a lot of people that put a lot of hard work in day and night to make sure that this runs the way it should, and the women get the stage that they want. And we're being very, very lucky with the swell coming in because, you know, we can't generate these waves on ourselves. This is nature made, nature made, and
I think that's why surfing's always so exciting to watch and so fun to watch, is because the conditions are always changing. You know, as the tides come in and out, there's different swells throughout the day. You know, I think this one right now is a predominant west with a bit of a southwest, and I mean, hopefully this swell holds all day. It says it should. It's supposed to be getting smaller in the weekend, but kind of transitioned, I think, into a bit of a southwest. But that's why surfing's so exciting to watch, is because it's never the same.
yeah, you never will catch a wave that reacted the same way, especially at a beach break, just because of the way it bends and refracts and hits that sandbar. But that's why surfing on a beach break is the dominant way of surfing, getting ready to take on anything the waves give you. You got to be very, very reactional. And this isn't a point break. This isn't a machine here. This isn't Kelly Slayer's wave. But we do have a rider up in red.
It's Lindsay Henwood.
Lindsay Henwood walking up and down, showing that
pretty
she
comfortable
has,
on that board.
Absolutely. Looking good. But we would, you know, for her to get those bigger points, we need her to finish her waves. So, like we said a little earlier there, she needs to turn, hit the lip, or move into a more critical spot so that she can then straighten out, face the judges, and say, yes, I have this wave. I want those points. Please get them for me. And, you know, let's see what the judges score that wave. We will give you some updates.
Yeah, we're still waiting for some unofficial heat results, so stand by. Once those scores are dropped from the judges, we can kind of give you a little position update here.
So far, it looks like Lindsay Henwood right now has a 7.0, which of the heat in Heat 6, that is the highest wave total for her. And also, throughout the whole competition so far, no one has gotten above a 7. So, yeah, that is total mistake. There was an 8.5. And we'll see if someone can take over that 7-point ride for her one ride there. How many? Can you ride more than 10 waves? Like, can you just go as much as you want right now?
Yeah, I think at the moment right now, just because with the swell that we have here and just the contest that we're in, I think it's kind of a free for all. So I mean, kind of get as many waves as you can. Just put up scores as much as you can. And, I mean, obviously, you don't want to go crazy out there and just pick off every single wave. You can see out the back there, Alan, is a nice looking line approaching us. But yeah, be selective with the waves that you're surfing, because, I mean, surfing a beach break, yeah, the conditions are always changing, so you can pick some waves that come through that not necessarily look that great, but then they can kind of turn into something pretty special. But we see this pretty big set kind of coming through here.
Paddling for the horizon. Who's in position? Rider in yellow decides not to go. Maybe go for the second
Look at
wave
that
here.
Beautiful looking wave there. That right is staying open, so see if anyone can capitalize on the one behind it.
Ooh.
It's like a surfer in
Lindsay
red.
gives up on it. Boom!
Going right over the falls there. And I mean, the commitment was there, but unfortunately, you kind of got a little
tired
took
up.
off a little bit too deep on that last one there. But Lindsay going for broke, not afraid to take advantage of those set waves. So yeah, you know, she's sitting pretty comfortable right now with her 7.0. It's a really good score to start off the heat there. And I mean, in second place we have surfer in yellow.
Surfer in yellow.
That's Robin Van Gwyn. She's got a 4.17. Still waiting for a second wave to drop, but still tons of time left in the heat here.
Yeah, just halfway through the heat, and it's looking good for those two ladies to progress on through, as the riders in blue and white have not yet a score to be dropped. So I wonder what's going through their minds right now. They are being really selective. We do have the two riders that have the wave scores together and the two other ones separated. So do you think the spot on the lineup, are they in the right spot?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been seeing some swell lines kind of to the south end of the beach there since this tide's filled in. Those kind of some big lefts there that are rolling through, and the girls are kind of staying busy up at the north end of the beach here. But if they can kind of see these lines, that there's that bank there on the left is starting to line up, and the girls are just kind of a bit right of that bank. But still, we saw earlier, there's still a few sets rolling through, especially the bigger sets are breaking right in front of them. But I mean, you got to stay busy if you want to get some scores and want to advance to the next round.
Absolutely, and the contest area is pretty huge, and we do have to thank all the locals for being polite and giving the contestants the room to have fun out there and really decide where they want to surf. Because like we've said multiple times already, this is a beach break, so that means it's going to break wherever it is, and it's all up to the competitor to really decide where we think is good. All right, rider in white, up and riding, going down, going for a right, backside, staying in the white water. Nice little fall there. That was all right,
Jillian
though.
Montgomery.
Jillian Montgomery getting her first wave under her belt, you know, maybe getting rid of the jitters. That's what you need. You know, I always like to get out in the water and just get the first wave as soon as possible. But still lots of time left out there with a couple lines coming through.
Yeah, we see surfer in yellow to the left of your screen there, paddling for this nice little wave here, see if she can get into it.
She's giving it. She wants it.
She wants that one. You got to want it.
Absolutely.
You got surfer in yellow. That's Robin Van Gwyn.
Nice line.
Yeah, trimming, getting some speed on that last wave. Then we have Lindsay Henwood out the back.
Oh, here's a beauty.
Here's a beautiful looking wave here. See if she can make something of it.
Nice line. She's going to wait for it. Now it gets that nice little bomb turn. Moves
surfer
forward.
in red. That's Lindsay Henwood.
Stay up there.
Coming right into your screen here. So you can stay with her.
Wow, right in front of competitor in yellow. Really just showing her that I'm here to take it. She does not want to give up.
Yeah, and she did open up with that 7.0, so that's definitely in the later stages of this heat is definitely going to help her kind of add on to her score line. And that's the thing, is if you can come out with a bang, you can kind of, I mean, not necessarily coast, but you can kind of sit back and lay off the gas pedal a bit if you know you got a good score. So, yeah, and I mean, the main thing is to stay busy out there. So, you know, the more waves you're going to catch, the more comfortable you're going to be, and kind of less of those jitters, those contest jitters are going to get out. So, I mean, I can feel for these girls here, you know, the Queen of the Peak. There's not too many contests out here in Canada. There's Queen of the Peak, there's the Rip Curl Pro, and that's pretty much kind of it.
That is pretty much it. There was this brand new thing called the Weird Off, the West Coast Weird Off.
Yeah,
Pretty local event, but very fun.
Yeah, Alan,
Really-
maybe you can tell us a bit about the Weird Off. That was happening last week. I heard all the buzz, and unfortunately, had to work all weekend, couldn't make it down, but
Yeah,
seemed
so
like it was a pretty awesome time.
it really was. You know, they these guys came together. A group of guys, local guys, decided to have this thing called the Cold Feet Club. Little clothing company, but an alternative surf company. And they just want to have people that have more fun because it's not all about the thruster set or the shortboard. They want to bring in the single fins, the twin fins, the weirdo boards, the boards that just kind of get glazed over a lot of times on the surf racks. But you know, surfing is really much a bit of an art form, and so just because someone does something some way, you don't have to do that. So getting out of the box, getting a little alternative, and that's what they wanted to have, an anti-contest. A bit of a irony there.
Saw the wrap-up video, and I saw someone in a canoe.
Yeah, there's a canoe. There was this alternative surf craft, so it had to be something that wasn't actually a surfboard. I saw a fridge door with a fin placed in it, and the guy tried to surf that. That was pretty insane.
I think someone had an ironing board as well.
Yeah.
My buddy Liam McDonald there, he surfed an ironing board. And it's a pretty hilarious concept when you think of surf contests and kind of like a unofficial or like a not an official contest.
Just kind
go
of
and have fun.
it's about getting people out in the water, having fun, laughing together.
I think that's what people tend to forget about that. Especially as the level of surfing definitely gets bigger and bigger out in an area like this. It's not all about kind of going out there and trying to get a sticker on your board. At the end of the day, you gotta be having fun, because once that fun aspect kind of leaves that sport and that mentality that you're going through,
Then it just becomes a
what's the
job.
point? Yeah,
It
it
just
becomes a
becomes
job.
and that's no fun. Like I feel like a lot of us in Tofino and Ucluelet are very, very lucky. A lot of our jobs really, what most people look at in the big cities and stuff like that as
The dream job.
the dream job. Absolutely,
But
I do hear that
it
quite
does
often.
definitely comes with a price.
Sure does.
You can't.
Sure does.
Sometimes you do take it for granted, but day in and day out, Alan, you can vouch for me as well. Doing surf lessons, doing 2 or 3 a day, getting in and out of your wetsuit. It's
not easy.
It's not easy, man.
It's not easy. It's not. It isn't just wake up. Get out there, go do it, and then walk home. You're putting your body on the line a little bit, and
I love at the end of the year, I think I'm going to start a little book, and I'm going to start writing the best questions or the best statements I've been asked during surf lessons.
I would enjoy that.
I think the best one I had this summer was how high above sea level are we?
How high above sea level? Well, we can
mean-
get down to the nitty gritty. Like, how tall was he?
See, that's the thing is like, it's kind of like almost like a trick question. It's like, well, parts of you are underwater, parts of you are above water. So, I'm not sure if this guy was trying to get philosophical with me, but I'm not sure if it was one of those infamous dumb questions. But you take what you can get, and it's
Absolutely.
hilarious the amount of people every single year. Alan, you see it, especially living in Tofino. The amount of people learning how to surf out here is insane.
It is insane. And in the 70s, I think California had a huge influx of people wanting to get out there, want to go surfing, and we are in the surf mecca of Canada right now. Tofino, Cox Bay, beautiful waves. There's always a wave, and when you travel around the world, they don't have that consistency. I've never seen this place flat like a lake. Maybe not the biggest waves, but you can always grab a
Still grab a
10-foot board.
longboard,
You always
yeah.
have a wave, And I think my favorite thing, just looking down the beach here, I think I see, is that Pete DeVries? I think that was Pete DeVries way over in the corner over there. He's paddling out. He's not going to let all the lays have all the fun. He needs to get a couple waves. He's been juicing as he was judging earlier. And Pete was out on a longboard, and I was around, and there had to have been someone on a shortboard, and he said, "Man, it must be hard out there on a shortboard." And the big smile on his face, the whole lineup cracked up. It was a good one. Picking the right board for the day.
That's what it's all about. I know that
Really is.
a lot of people kind of try to stick with that shortboard mentality, but it's it kind of limits yourself, and especially when you're kind of learning how to surf or wanting to kind of progress and get better at surfing. You got to kind of get on everything. Get on a longboard, get on a fish, get on.
Oh, yeah.
If you dare, you get on a sup. But even that, you know, it's fun. Try supping out here in the surf. It's a lot harder than it looks.
Oh yeah.
Trying to balance and especially with a paddle as well. And so if you can kind of do everything, you know, call yourself a waterman. So don't try to limit yourself with a shortboard. I understand shortboarding is definitely pretty fun, but I mean, I think I've probably had some of my best surfs on a longboard.
Oh, absolutely. And Tofino really asks you, say, hey, get on that longboard, go have more fun, catch a whole bunch of waves. And when the season's right and the waves are right, grab that shortboard. But in the meantime, you know,
Stay busy.
Stay busy out there, get the waves, because it's all about time on the wave. And talking about time, we are counting it down. Under a minute left in this heat. Let's see what we have going on for some scores.
Yeah, so people, current ladies in the water here, that's surfer in red. That's Lindsay Henwood.
Lindsay up.
Surfer in white, Jillian Montgomery. Surfer in yellow, Robin Van Gwyn. And surfer in blue, Carrie Lachlan. And we see Lindsay.
Ooh, wow.
Wow, getting right up to the nose on that board there and having a pretty critical wave. And I mean, got a little bit stuck on that end section there, but definitely showing some commitment on her maneuvers there. That's why earlier she posted that 7. That definitely helped her scoreline. And I mean, kind of unofficially, it looks like she has a 6 to back that up.
Yeah, pretty high wave total right now with Lindsay with a 13 points.
3,
And
2,
as you
1.
can hear over in the beach commentary, the big horns, that is the end of Heat 6, Round 1, longboarding.
That's the end of round 1, Heat 6.
We're moving right into Heat 7 here.
So in Heat 7 here, we have wearing red, Amanda Lovett. In white, Brianna Webb. In yellow, Frederique Gay. And in blue, Ann McDonald.
Ann McDonald. Absolutely. I think this will be a this heat. The waves have really started to be a little bit more specific on where they're going to break. And the tide is almost at its full height here.
You can kind of see they've a few of these surfers who have kind of switched up their surfing here. They've kind of found that peak that I was talking about earlier to the left there, and we saw surfer in yellow get on an early left.
Yeah, I do believe that's Fred. Frederica, I do believe she likes to be called Fred or Freddie. She's a great surfer. She was actually in the Weird Off, shredding it up on a whole bunch of different weird boards. So we'll see what she brings to the table today.
So we got surfer in red there. That's Amanda Lovett.
I love it. Some big lines. Look at these ones come through. Rider in white, up and riding, going down the line, around. Ooh, didn't want to run into a competitor right there. That was nice for her. Staying in the pocket, finishing it off, and then jumping off. Good job.
That was Brianna Webb in white there. Just trying to pull up some interesting facts that you should know about these surfers here. Just wait there. So
I'd really like to get to know what kind of boards these ladies are riding out there. I think we might try to do some interviews later on as the competition starts to wean out a little bit.
yeah, once we kind of figure out all the kinks of this live stream and get rolling here and kind of find our comfort zone, we'll hopefully be able to pull some post-heat interviews here as we did last year.
Just checking our Twitter feed here, Hostels International just posted an epic shot of all the ladies watching the competition, cheering on their friends there. Don't forget, I do believe tonight, big backside kickoff party at the Whalers at the Point HI Hostel. Tonight, that's going to be a great time. I'll be there. I do believe my good man, Bren Dino, will be alongside me having a few.
I never turn down a good party.
That's right.
It's always fun to see, get involved with everything that's going on this whole weekend, and just to talk about the day, hang out with everyone that's involved with organizing the contests and all the girls and all the other people that are competing and helping and run this contest. It's great to just get involved. And if you guys are in town or are coming to town, get amongst us. We have surfer in yellow. That's Frederic Gay looking at a beautiful left here, getting pretty high with a nice floater. Fortunately, couldn't land that that airdrop she had, but wow, Frederic looking pretty smooth on that wave there. So a little bit about Frederic there, surfer in yellow. She's from Montreal. She's been surfing for a couple years now, 2 years, and at the young age of 22. Her favorite board is her 9.2 Hobie. You can bet
Hobie.
she's surfing that one right now. And
I bet she is.
she is a goofy footer. And I love these questions. Are you a mom? She is not a mom. And she does not work at Surf Sister. And if you guys are wondering, her waivers are signed.
There you go. Her waivers are signed.
That's
so
great.
she's going to give it, and talking a little bit about the safety aspect out there in the water. Tofino is one of those great spots to learn and to push yourself because we have very little dangers out there. Very little dangers, sand, bottom, no rocks to worry about, and very little sea life to be afraid of.
I think that's why it's such a big draw to come out here and surf up here in Canada, especially in Tofino, and it's just the factors, those danger factors that people say is, the sharks and coral reefs and all that stuff. We don't have any of that up here.
No stingrays.
No stingrays.
No crazy locals.
I mean,
well, maybe
yeah.
1 or 2, but nothing too angry or aggro, as I like to say, out in the water. It's pretty chill.
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty sweet environment to come surf, and we got Surfer in red there.
Surfer in red.
Up and riding. It's Amanda Levitt.
Yeah, everyone's got a wave so far. They've all dropping down, and this could be the wave for her to finish off.
Yeah, pretty busy there. Couldn't quite finish that one, but I like her approach on that wave. Staying a little busy, getting pretty comfortable. I know it's kind of midway through this heat. It's great to get a couple waves under your belt, even though if they're not high scoring waves, just to shake off those cobwebs and get comfortable. Because like you said earlier, Alan, contest surfing is a lot different from free surfing.
Oh yeah.
And your mentality is a little bit different because you have 20 minutes. You have Surfer in blue at the back there. That's Ann McDonald.
Ann McDonald, nice dismount.
Nice
Absolutely
dismount.
Nice dismount.
I mean, I'm not sure if you're going to be getting points for that dismount, but that was pretty little 180.
She gets a point in my book, that's for sure. Freddie paddling for a wave, double-fisted, getting in there. Ooh, look at that style. Feet together, crossing, stepping up there, grabbing the rail.
Wow.
Getting past that section, finish it off. Oof. But still, I think that's going to be her best score so far. Absolutely.
Man, Frederic looking very, very comfortable out there. I like her approach on these waves. She's sitting pretty far to the left there. She's seeing which bank is working, and she's finding those lefts that keep reeling through.
As goofy fitters normally do. The goofy fitters normally love to find those lefts. Cox Bay is normally a dominant right style of a wave, I find, but then right in the middle here, we get those lefts coming through, and Freddie's taking advantage of them. She is in first place right now with a wave combined total of 7.97. Or, sorry, 9.77. Wow, even better. So she's looking good. Looking good there. Yeah. There's a lot of numbers up on the board. Here we got red up and riding. Another little drop off there.
I believe there's Amanda Levitt there. Had a nice looking wave there, but couldn't quite come out of that one. But yeah, so current situation on the water, if you guys are joining us. So Surfer, currently in fourth place.
Currently in fourth place, we have red and white.
Wearing white, yeah, that's Brianna Webb. She has a combined total of a 2.53. I mean, she only has one wave and definitely looking to improve on that one. Surfer in blue, you're currently in third place. That's Ann McDonald. She's got a combined score of a 3.60, so definitely looking to improve on a couple of her scores there. And I mean, there still are some waves coming through, and you definitely get some waves under your belt. So in second place, we have for Surfer in red. She has a combined score of an 8.37. That's Amanda Levitt. And Surfer in first place, that's Surfer wearing yellow with a 9.77 combined heat total score. She's sitting on a 5.50 and her backup score of a 4. I mean, Alan, with these waves coming through, you can definitely improve on those scores. We saw earlier with Lindsay scoring a 7 in the heat before.
Yeah, there's lots of room to go, and I do believe it's the top 2 advance, so, fighting for that second place is
trek up to Tofino
is the
tier 2
blue
for us,
and blue and white there.
gets better every
You know,
day
Freddie,
we
if
do it,
we
so this is,
can't really
the
see it in
fourth
your
day
screen,
we
but
were
she has
off
paddled
for
far to the
the
left.
weekend.
She's paddling into a wave right now, and she is up and riding, going down the line, and she falls. But you know, she's hunting those lefts. She's separated herself from the rest of the peak, and she's putting herself in the position to stay up, stay busy, stay on top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing right now. You know, the ocean's gone a little quiet. That's probably due to the high tide. But there are still tons of waves coming through. And I mean, I like Frederique's kind of approach to this heat right now because, you know, it looks like those surfers to the right there in the white and blue, they're kind of stuck in a little bit of a rippy section there where Frederique's finding these lefts that keep kind of coming through. So we'll see kind of how the rest of this heat unfolds. But I like the way she's approaching the situation here. She sees those laps and she's capitalizing, and you can tell in her scoreline she's sitting pretty right now in first place. So,
you know, and Red's not too far away. Red is not too far away. To get into first place, she just needs a good 5.08, and that could put her right up into first place. And her top score right now is a 4.7, so not too much more. Maybe just a little bit more of a radical wave to dive into. Well, yeah, it does seem to have, the ocean has taken a bit of a break, but we do have just over 10 minutes left in this heat. So this is where, when you're out in the water, you've made it through halfway. You just need to keep your heart rate down, just stay calm, breathe, and let the waves kind of come to you a little bit. Don't go chasing. Don't look around at what your competitors are doing, and just focus on your game.
that's the thing, you know, as you go out there, you only have 20 minutes, and it's definitely changing your aspect and your approach to surfing. And under those 20 minutes, you know, like it makes or break someone kind of, you know, because, you know, having 20 minutes to kind of go out there and try to catch the best waves as possible, and also try to, you know, get as much kind of a highest score as possible. It's definitely pretty nerve-wracking.
Oh yeah, and it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. You know, you find out really quickly if this is your thing, if your surfing turns on under the pressure or not. And
I feel like, you know, just being up here in Canada and the surf industry here, we don't really have too many contests. So you know, when these contests do roll around, well, especially the Queen of the Peak, all the girls out here, you know, they have those pre-contest jitters and a little nervous before it starts because, I mean, there's only 2 kind of contests out here so far, and yeah, that's the difference between, you know, other people around the world, is especially if you look to our neighbors down south in the States. You know, they have
competition
every
week or something like that.
ISA contests happen every week. You know, it's great to have Shannon Brown and the help of all the locals, you know, coming together and having those board rider, those events and those contests, kind of getting people comfortable and having fun. But yeah, that's the thing, is that contest surfing out here is fairly non-existent. But when the contests do come around, the participation, you know, everyone wants to sign in, everyone wants to get in there. So we have Surfer in yellow at the back there. That's Frederique.
Getting dropped in on, but
Surfer in
what is going to happen here? It's going to
blue.
have to put the judges. Curious.
I'm not sure if that was an interference call, but we'll have to leave that into the judges there. That was didn't look like Surfer in blue affected her potential to score, but I'm not the judge. We'll see how that unfolds.
No, we're not sitting in that judge chair. We're sitting in this beautiful commentating chair, getting a great view of what's happening out there. And if you have any questions about us or what's happening up here or what's going on around, please do not hesitate to hit us up on our Twitter feed.
And Instagram.
In Instagram, absolutely.
Queen of the Peak, at Queen of the Peak. And make sure you hashtag Queen of the Peak as well. So if you're getting down here to the beach, getting social, having fun, hanging out.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's a little chilly. It's nice to have a jacket on out here, but it looks like we have a good amount of people walking around on the beach. There's going to be food later on. I do believe Wildside is going to be down here, giving us some food, feeding us all the competitors, and open to other people coming around to enjoy some. And
Wildside.
yeah, I think I see some.
Pretty fantastic. Have you had those fish tacos before?
Oh, that's too many fish tacos. Too many count. I love tacos.
I don't think you could ever have too many fish tacos,
That's
you know?
right.
Those are probably the premier things on their menu, and I mean their whole menu is great.
Locally
And
caught.
Everything's locally caught.
Yeah.
Yeah,
From,
it's fun fact from Wadside.
Boat to your mouth. You know, locally sourced fish. They get out in that boat and they're like, we're gonna go catch some fish for you today. And feed
It's
these
always nice to
beautiful
know where your
critters."
food comes from.
Absolutely.
Lunch is coming, so I'll tag one of you guys in when you finish.
So as there's a little lull in the action here, Alan and I will kind of read off a little bit of a history and some fun facts about the Queen of the Peak. So, you know, the co-founders, Shelter and Surf Sister, founded the Queen of the Peak contest in 2009, and has grown this contest into a week event pretty much. And now we have about over 100 competitors now in the 7th annual Queen of the Peak. It's pretty remarkable, Alan, to see the growth of this contest. You know, like I was talking to Mike Jacobson and Chrissy Montgomery before this contest got underway. They said this in 2009 it had 40 competitors. Now it's at about just over 100. That's
a lot of people.
We'll maybe get back to live action. Your surfer in blue.
Woo!
That's Ann McDonald. Looking at a beautiful right here.
Oh.
Ann McDonald coming out of Ottawa. All the way from Ottawa. Her favorite board to surf is a modern. And of course, you guys just saw on that last wave, she's a regular footer. So if you guys don't know the difference between regular and goofy, if your right foot is forward, goofy footed.
That's right.
If
Goofy
your left
footed.
foot
Nothing
is-
goofy about it, though. Nothing goofy about it.
I mean, I can vouch. I'm a goofy footer, and I kind of think that the goofy footers kind of dominate out here in Tofino and Ucluelet. But I mean, I could be biased, but I feel that we surf a lot better than you guys.
Yeah, you know, like it's it's just about the way you're a different approach, different feeling, and we are lucky that there are some great lefts and there are some great rights.
Unfortunately, I don't think the last goofy footer to win, if you're talking the World Tour scale, was CJ Hobgood. Or no, sorry, Gabriel Medina. So, I mean,
wow,
goofy footers are definitely, contingent on the World Tour scale, but I mean, it's definitely been a pretty heavy favorite regular footed, especially with Kelly winning 11.
11 world titles.
Could argue who are the better surfers, but I mean, end of the day, we're all friends.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, we try to get, party waves are great. Not in the competition sense, of course. I don't think we did have a bit of an interference call there from the judges, so it looks like Rider in Blue is in the clear. And we've only got about just under 5 minutes left here.
So a few other things that I've actually found pretty awesome about this contest here is that the Queen of the Peak it's a strictly women's contest, which is awesome. And the contest here, if you're at the beach and if you're competing and you can't find a babysitter or anything, there's actually babysitting going on down at the beach. So lots of these surfers out there in the water are mothers. And yeah, there's babysitting being offered here down at the beach, which is pretty awesome. And there's also massages and chiropractic services down here at the beach for all the contestants. I might, on my lunch break, might want to go down there and get a little rub down. It'd be kind of nice. Get a little tense up here.
Yeah, it is intense. Watching these ladies put it all on the line and hoping for them is definitely, the neck is getting a little bit tense every time I see them catch a wave and hoping they're going to do some great maneuver for us.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully as the swell or the tide drops a bit, so we have Surfer in red up and riding.
Ooh, right at the cameraman. I think that is either Kyler Voss or Adam Chilton, the chili man.
Amanda Levitt. And then out the back there, Frederique. She's definitely been the busiest contestant in this heat. Unfortunately, got stuck behind that foam ball there. That wave kind of outran her, but
she is flying.
She is definitely staying busy. And we have Surfer in Blue up and riding. That's Ann McDonald.
Ann McDonald. There, let's find out a little bit about Ann McDonald, shall we? Ann McDonald. Oh, yeah, well, we did tell you she is from Ottawa. And,
surfing for 6 years.
6
nice,
years. Wow. I do believe out in Ottawa, don't they have a standing wave somewhere in a river? Is that around Ottawa?
Sure.
I've heard a little bit about somewhere in Ontario where there's a standing wave. I wonder if she does any lake surfing out there. It's cold, I hear.
Yeah, I'm assuming so. If she's been surfing for six, oh man, Alan, sorry to cut you off or cut the story short. Look at these waves rolling through. This last set, all these girls getting a little stuck on the inside, but that's the beauty of surfing is, you know, the ocean is so unpredictable. And we see it just right there. You know, these waves come in sets, and you know sometimes it's pretty small, as we were watching earlier in the heat here. The waves got a little, kind of shut down a bit, but then you'll get one of these rogue sets, and so it makes it fun to watch. You know, as a kind of a viewer's perspective, watching it online or even watching it live, it's definitely one of the more exciting sports to watch.
And as a competitor, they're sitting on the beach, they're watching these waves, and they're trying to figure out some sort of consistency with those sets. Are they showing up every 10, 15 minutes? And is it worth it to go for them?
Exactly.
Is it worth it to sit out there and wait for that bomb? You only need 2 waves to win.
Mm-hmm. And that's definitely the difference between, the girls that end up going, farther in the contest, like hitting the quarterfinals and the semis, is just understanding how the ocean works, wave knowledge. Wave knowledge is huge, especially when it comes to a contest perspective, understanding if this wave is going to close out or not, if I should take this one in the first wave of the set or should take the second one. And I mean, as we said earlier, beach break surfing can be tricky, but it makes you a better surfer because you're always constantly adapting your surfing.
And then when you go traveling somewhere and you happen to be lucky enough to get a point break, it's like a piece of cake. You're just out there. You're like, I know where the point break is. I know where I'm gonna go. Right on the peak, you're going.
Yeah.
And it just has a lot of fun.
Counting down.
Ooh, this heat is just about to go down. Listen for the horn, and that heat is come to a close. Heat 6, I believe. 6.
It was heat 7 here.
Might be heat 7.
So yeah, that heat 7 just ended there. That was the horn to mark the end of it. In the water, we had Amanda Leva wearing red, wearing white. We had Bree Webb in yellow, Frederick Gay, and in blue, Anne McDonald. So stand by for heat 8 of the women's longboard.
There it is. That is the start of heat 8.
So maybe, Alan, you want to
let's see
read
who
them
we
off
have
and
here.
see who you have in the water there.
Yeah, so in the water in red, we have Morgan McIntosh. We have in white Maria. And then we also have in yellow Emma Wilson. And in blue, we have Laura Robinson. So, sorry, Robson, not Robinson. Just my pronunciations. Not the best of those last names, but let's find out some information about who we have in the water today. Can we find Morgan?
We have Morgan up here, but I mean, you've probably known Morgan for a while.
Yeah,
She's
actually,
a long-time Tofino resident.
She has a bit of a long-time Tofino. I do believe she lives in Victoria now. She's been coming up here quite a bit lately, and yeah, she's a great longboarder. Definitely not a fair weather surfer. I see her out there in all the ugly glory of what we get out here with the rain and the storms. Makes it really raw. She's out there on her longboard, and I'm really curious to see how she's going to handle this heat. She does have some very intense competitors coming up against her.
Mm-hmm. You can see these sets at the back there.
It is
It's
pumping,
a
as they say.
Hilarious sets, and all of these are a little bit caught on the inside. Let's hopefully one of them can get up past the break and get one of these waves. I mean, I love this contest come fall time here. The ocean is always alive. I don't remember the last time the Queen of the Peak didn't have waves.
No, we even had so much swell 2 years ago that they had to do a full-on beach change and go to North Chesterman.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, that's pretty much the hardest thing to control is the ocean. The ocean's its own beast, and the contest is only as good as the waves that you have.
So you just have to play with what you get.
Exactly.
Play with what you get.
Yeah. There's nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do. Well, we're really lucky nowadays with swell forecasting and beach cams. People putting in the time to help before you go.
Mm-hmm.
But you really never know until you do get down on that beach and give it a look. I have been skunked a time or two, but when you get it good, man, does it ever feel good to get that to yourself. You pick the right beach, you looked at the swell, and and you got those waves to yourself. And, you know, these ladies are super lucky because at this time with this swell, this weekend, it will be busy out there, and they get to surf it with only 3 others out. So
Yeah, it's pretty great when, you know, that's the definitely the benefit of surfing in a contest is we have a pretty big contest area here, and, you know, there's you and 3 other surfers out in the lineup, and you don't have to worry about any other person kind of getting in the way. But Alan, looks like these girls are having a pretty tough time to get out
They
past the
sure
break. These
are.
sets have not stopped. This looks like a 9-wave set where these girls are just getting.
turtle rolling, trying to get out of there. Well, hopefully they don't waste too much energy. You know, they do have quite a bit of time left on.
I kind of like how
Clock.
blue and yellow here on your screen there. They're kind of hanging out on the inside and kind of just waiting for the set to subside. You know, that's what you were saying that earlier, Alan, about, you know, the difference between being a good surfer and you know, trying to learn and trying to get better is just energy, being efficient with your energy out there. It's really easy to expend a lot of energy and get really tired. And as we all know, surfing is a pretty physically demanding sport. But if you can conserve your energy, and, you know, as surfer in yellow on the inside, she's just waiting for this set to go through.
Might as well.
Might as well.
Might as
I mean,
well.
there's no
save
point
that
trying to paddle
energy.
through these massive sets and
You
getting.
won't do it. You won't
Yeah.
make it. You know, with these longboards, they cannot duck dive. They have to go either do a turtle roll. That's where they grab the rails, they flip themselves over, they pull that nose close to their face to hope that the wave will then swash on over them.
Mm-hmm.
Or they'll do, you know, just kind of go for broke and try to bang it on over the top. And that one can be a very, very good, vital one because your board, you just land on top of your board, but you lose a little bit more energy to get that, and it cannot work out for you, and you can lose your board a little easier.
So we have surfer in white just trying to paddle in that one. Got a little stuck on the takeoff there.
Yeah,
See if we
this
can
is
pull up
where
on
we're
the end
gonna
there.
wanna. This is where the competitors are gonna wanna recharge, let their arms relax, breathe, get control of their breath again, and then wait for that next big set because it could be just around the corner. Or they could just stick for the insides, and it does look like the team is focusing on that inside break now. We'll see if that's going to pay off for them, but as a whole, they all seem to be sticking on that inside bank. Do you have any
beautiful day.
scores? Do you have any scores dropped yet?
It was a heat 8. We have so current situation in the water right now in fourth place, wearing blue. That's Laura Robson. She's currently sitting with a 1. I believe she's only got 1 wave here. This the kind of the remainder of this or the past little bit of this heat here. It's just been an onslaught of pretty
I think
big
that's your new
sets coming
favorite
through.
word there, onslaught.
Onslaught. That's a.
It's a good
I'm
one.
going to add that to the vocabulary. And then currently in third place, we're in yellow. Let's pull up her name here. That's Emma Wilson. She's currently sitting with a 1.17. Definitely looking to improve that one. So we have surfer in white up and riding here. That's Maria Krawich. Unfortunately, just couldn't really get ahead of that wave there. And a little bit of info about Maria. Surfer in white, 30 years old, out in Nanaimo, a regular footer. It's nice to see the variety of contestants. I mean, I'm looking down the list here. We have some surfers from Ontario, from Toronto, or sorry, from Vancouver,
Russia.
Winnipeg, Parksville, Vernon, Tawasin, Carmel, California, Russia. No way. Nova Scotia. I mean, girls from all over the world. I mean, predominantly more of a local scene here, but it's great to see, you know, the amount of distance that some contestants have to travel just to come up here and compete in the Queen of the Peak. I mean, there is $2,000 on the line for the women's shortboard, and for these longboarders.
Yeah, what are they fighting for?
In first place, the longboarders, they are looking for a brand new. So in first place, if you get first place in the longboard division here, you get a fresh Aftanas surfboard, custom built by Stefan Aftanas himself, and $200.
Yeah, 200 bones just coming your way with one of those sick boards.
I mean, it depends what kind of board you get, but I mean, those boards range from $600 to $1,200.
$1,200, absolutely. And, you know, Stefan has been here for a long time. He's been making boards in Tofino for Tofino.
He's pretty good at it too. I
He
heard.
is really good. I have a couple of his boards. I've been very lucky.
Mhm.
My first board that I ever bought brand new was a Aftana Stub 5.8. Epic board, great board to really help out when the conditions at Cox Bay are a little bit fatter, just like we're seeing today. And then I was lucky enough to buy a Bob last year, which is only same idea, a bit of a mush crusher, but I got it really nice and small, a little bit more performance-y, and really, really happy with his shapes. They've been holding up really great. Good foam, good glassing, and also just an all-around great guy to hang out with and chat about surfing.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty awesome when you can go into your local shaper or go to your local shaper in his local shaping bay there and kind of just talk boards and board dynamic and board dimensions. And, you know, it's great great when a person kind of takes that time out of his day to kind of listen to kind of what you're trying to build, what kind of board you're trying to build. And, you know, then he takes all that information that you tell him and he puts it down in the computer and figures out what works the best. So it's really, really awesome. And then it's great once you get a board built with him, you can go back and improve on. So you can go back and talk to him saying, you know, what's working and what's not working. And then you can kind of customize, you know, to your liking. So it's really, really awesome to definitely head down there and support your local shaper there. Stefan's definitely put in a lot of work throughout the years, and he's definitely blood, sweat, and tears to get to where he's at today. And I mean, yeah, shaping boards isn't very. It's pretty tough.
It's not
easy.
the glory job. It's not. You know, you're not getting all the hoots and hollers from everyone all day. You're in a shaping bay getting dirty. You know, there are some foamy stuff going out there, dealing with the chemicals. But you're also doing a little bit of art. It is art, and I do look at these boards as something that you can have for the rest of your life. Putting them up on the walls after you have a good surf
I never
session
throw
with
away
them.
any of my old boards.
Absolutely.
I keep them.
Oh, look at this drainer absolutely coming through. Sorry to cut you off there, but that was a great wave that just no one, it seems to be, ladies getting caught inside with these sets.
Yeah, the ocean has kind of been a little bit relentless for these ladies right now. It's just been a flurry of sets that they can't really seem to shake off. And, I mean, there are some channels you can kind of utilize there. So if any of you girls are watching online and they're surfing a little bit later here, you know, you can definitely surf around or paddle around these sections here and get out past the break. And as Alan and I said earlier, you can definitely utilize that rip if you guys can find that riptide and, you know, pull you right out the back there with little ease. But or you can just wait out the storm.
Wait it out. That's
I mean,
that's what I call.
Moving that longboard around is definitely pretty tricky. It's pretty heavy, especially for these girls out there, you know, moving around a 9-foot board. We got Surfer in red up and riding.
There she go. Nice inside. That's Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan
All right.
McIntosh.
Riding it in, getting a finish. We'll see what the judges drop on that little ride there. I think it's the first wave to been ridden in a little bit here.
So as these girls start to paddle out past the break here, Alan, let's have a read through our sponsor list here. So
Absolutely.
start from the top here. Shelter and Surf Sister. You know, Mike Jacobson there at Shelter and Chrissy Montgomery at Surf Sister.
Two local legends.
Legends.
Absolutely.
You know, like the amount of time and effort and money and blood, sweat, and tears that they pour into this contest to make it happen for 7 years now. It's pretty next to none, you know, and you know, having people like that at the forefront of the industry out here, it shows a lot in like how well the contests are being put together. You know,
they care. They want to help. They want to help women have a place in that they very rightfully should have. Like,
yeah.
The more of these competitions need to be happening out there.
So
and,
in years to come, you know, 50, 60, 70, 80 years down the line, you know, those two will be well thanked.
Absolutely.
For creating an awesome foundation for the surf industry out here. Of course, Billabong is the big sponsor here. You know, the Queen of the Peak presented by Billabong. Every year they just support and you know, help out all the girls and help out everybody that's a part of this contest in every way possible.
Yeah, then we got the Wickaninnish Inn. They have really helped us out. We actually just had yoga on the at free yoga that Jackie Challenger put on that the Wicked Innish held, and that was great. I wish I could have gone to that, but I was down here setting it up. But
It's okay.
A little yoga to zen yourself up before you get in the water, help you get in the mindset.
Last time I checked, I believe your girlfriend Amanda is a yoga instructor.
She is quite the yogi. She does love teaching yoga. She's a great instructor. I really need to do more yoga. She says that to me every day.
I've actually never sat through one yoga class in my life.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's definitely one of those nuts I need to crack.
Absolutely. It's not that hard. It's not as hard, and the beautiful thing about yoga is that there's no ego. Or there shouldn't be an ego when you're going into it.
I think
it doesn't matter how much you stretch or you're in there to move.
Yeah.
You're just in there to be. All right, we got Pacific Sands right on the beach, right on Cox Bay. And they have a great spot down here. I think some of our competitors might even be staying there.
Yeah,
Great
definitely
sleep.
kind of one of the premier resorts on the west coast of Canada, if not in Tofino as well. It's if you guys haven't are unfamiliar with the Pacific Sands, make sure you check them out, pacificsands.com. Have a look of what they have to offer. I mean,
Surf Sisters actually is on their property. They run lessons out of there.
yeah, and they just opened up. Yeah, the beach, whatever it is, the
Surfside Grill. I do
and
believe
Surfside
it's a
Grill.
like a little outpost for Wildside. Great food. I've eaten there a couple times. And on their radio commercial, they do say that they have the best ice cream, soft serve. They make sure they do say soft serve, and
Yikes.
they're not putting anything down on Chocolate Tofino. But man, is
Claim
it good?
it,
They will claim that they have the best soft serve. Absolutely.
I got nothing wrong with that when people claim something. If you're the best, say it.
Say it. Absolutely. Yeah. Head chef over there, Dylan, doing a great job. Always bringing a smile. Always bringing a smile. We have to thank the District of Tofino. Really, where are we? We're in Tofino. We're thanking them because they're letting us take over their beach for the day and tomorrow and the next day.
Yeah,
And,
one of the
5
most
minutes remaining.
kind of the
5
most
minutes
beautiful
remaining
places in Canada, I believe,
Eight.
Tofino, BC, and
Last
this
seat
whole
of the
west
day, where we're
coast. It's
at.
I mean, look at where we are. We're on the beach here, and you got Cox Bay
We're gonna be
Point, you got
directly into
Sunset
the shortboard
Point,
after
on the north and south end of the beaches here, and our view. We're looking. The next piece of land that we see across there is, kind of China, Japan, and we're pretty much on the edge of the world right now. And
We really are.
it's it's definitely an amazing place to be. So it's great to have Sports Canada TV here, bringing the live stream, pretty much bringing the beaches of Tofino to your living room or to your office
Or your cell phone.
or your cell phone or
Wherever you are in a bus.
yeah. It's great. It's definitely kind of stepped up the game here, down here on the beach. And what else we got here? We got Aftana surfboards. We talked about Stefan earlier. We have Tourism Tofino. Always a huge bonus having them on board. We have Ocean Village, Wildside Grill, keeping everyone fed. And if you guys are hungry, head down to Wildside. I mean, make some of the best fish tacos I think I've ever had, and some of the best burgers. One of my favorites is that chicken burger.
That's my favorite after surf snack.
Yeah.
Get out of the water, sunset surf, maybe at Long Beach or Cox Bay. You don't want to go home and make anything, so what do? You go to Wildside. And they're always there, ready to make it up for you. Quick but healthy.
We got, what else do we got here? We got Epic Pharmacy. Of course, we have Mask On. I mean, this live feed and the live scoring wouldn't be possible without Mask On for bringing down the fiber optic cables and bringing internet to the beach. I mean, this, and I say it time and time again, but having the, kind of surfing's taken over of the main way to view a surf contest is pretty much online now because it's all over the world, and not everybody can travel all over the world like some people can. But the best way to view a surf contest is, I mean, obviously on the beach. But if you can't make it, watch it online.
Watch it online. Just get it in front of you. We're pretty lucky, Tofino now with that fiber optics, being able to just set everyone up with what's going on here. And who else do we have? We have to thank
The infamous
Tofino Brew Co. Thank
The
you,
boys.
Tofino Brew Co.
Always for the boys over there. The whole crew. I mean, keeping everyone hydrated year in and year out.
Year in, year out, keeping, they put so much time and effort into helping not just this event, but a lot of other events in Tofino. They won't quit, they won't stop, and they're doing a great job nationally. I think they're winning awards for their beers because their beer is great. My favorite
I enjoy
is
them. I enjoy them quite a
the
bit.
Kelp Stout and their Dawn Patrol.
I'm
their
a tough
coffee
session guy.
porter. Yeah, that's just the
classic.
classic, But
Yeah.
when we get the seasonal ones, I'm all for that Kelp Stout. My dad really likes.
Let's
likes it as well.
let's hit back to on the screen here. We have Surfer in red. That's Morgan McIntosh.
Nice.
Looking pretty busy on that wave there. Unfortunately, couldn't finish it off, but I mean, it's definitely going to help her scoreline there. Yeah, who else we got? We got Long Beach Surf Shop. I got a text from Chuck and Jeaner, the boys down at Long Beach Surf Shop. I want to send a big shout out to those guys. Stoked that you guys are showing support, watching the contest live and streaming it for all the guests that come in there. And if you guys aren't are cruising around Tofino, stop by Long Beach Surf Shop. Give those boys a high five. Make sure you give Chuck and Jeaner a big hug for me. Those guys are always providing the good times for you guys. And, yeah, providing the stoke every time you go into Long Beach. Yeah, quality staff, quality service, and, I mean, pretty much next to none. I mean, I would say that another surf shop's a little kind of rivals that one, but we won't go there. Also, Nixon as well, Von Zipper, supplying some of the prizes for all the contestants and some of the winners here. Pilot House Media, Rhino Coffee House, he has another sponsor there. Bear Wax Co., Banger Tubs as well. I think we'll be having one of those hot tubs set up on the beach, if not today, but throughout the weekend here. Lisa Fletcher Jewelry, Pacific Rim Cairo, Cox Bay Beach Resort, and of course, Odalith.
Odalith, great festival, really growing.
Yeah, this year was definitely one of the best. I mean, this is their third or fourth year, I believe.
Third year.
Third year. And this one is definitely one of the best ones they've had, for sure.
Here comes the end of the heat of that longboard.
Okay, 1 sec before you guys delete anything.
All right.
So that horn there marks the end of Heat 8, Round 1 of the women's longboard. I believe we'll be rolling into women's shortboard, I believe, is coming up next.
Yeah. We already have a rider up before I do believe the heat has started, just to get, some cobwebs out. Good for her. Go for it.
Yeah, we're still standing by, I think.
Yeah, and this is going to be an
Still
interesting,
standing by.
being the first heat out there for the competition, when you switch from longboard to shortboard, it's hard to know where to go. You've sat out there, you've looked at the waves, you're watching people on longer boards with way more surface area paddle for these waves. You're trying to mind surf and think, where should you go?
Jazz, you ready?
We got Morgan walking in, big smile on her face. I do think that she may have walked away unofficially with that in the top two, moving on to the next round.
Yeah.
Here starts round 1, heat 1 of the women's shortboard. And we have 2 women paddling into the waves. Just on screen, we have our awesome judge. That was Shannon Brown. Great judge, great coach, helping out the World Juniors. And here we go. Shortboard is going down.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the most exciting kind of surfing to watch, women's shortboard. And yeah, so for the women's shortboard, at the end of the weekend here, one of these lucky ladies are going to be walking home with a total of $2,000 as a cash prize. $2,000 this year.
I
Yeah.
wonder what they're going to spend on. I would spend it on a trip. I'd get out to go somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I could spend $2,000 in a lot of ways, but I mean, a trip would definitely be probably out there. I mean,
Yeah, or maybe just
go to Mexico.
Go to Mexico, get a couple more short.
Could probably live there for 3-4 months for $2,000 if you did it right.
You did it right.
with a 10-2-3
looks like there's
and
some
winning that heat
good
surf with
waves.
Red with a
I think
12-1-7.
the
Congratulations, ladies.
our
We will
commissioner
see
really
you
made a good
tomorrow in
call
the
at
round of
picking the
32.
times for when we should start the shortboarding and when we should do the longboarding.
So we are now in round 1, heat 1 of women's shortboard.
So who do we have out there? Let's we're just gonna pull up some information on our team here, and we'll tell you what's going on for them. But now, what considers a shortboard? Well, I would say anything below 7 feet. That would be my idea, eh?
I mean, yeah, once you hit that 7-foot mark, it's kind of those Minnie Mouse and the fun board shapes. But, yeah, anything from 7 or 6'10" and below, it's kind of considered a shortboard. And you have Surfer in Yellow up there on her backhand. Just got a little, dropped in a little leg, got a little stuck. And that wave closed out on her. But, I mean, now look at what we're seeing right now. You know, there's some pretty beautiful waves coming through here. And it's great to, you know, having a contest in October. I mean, I say it time and time again, but there's always waves.
There's always waves.
Yeah, and it's great for, you know, shortboarders and longboarders to have contestable swell that they can surf.
Yeah, they can
all the
push
time.
their limits. You know,
Mhm.
we want to see them push themselves. We want to see, and they want to go out there and do their best. And these waves are allowing them to have that opportunity.
I mean, it's always, it's especially in the back of your mind, you know, when you're looking at the swell forecast, you're looking at the conditions. You know, when you get down to the beach, and you know, when you have days where it's just flat and windy, and you know, waves aren't there, it really kind of knocks your spirit down a bit, or kind of you know, puts a chink in your armor, because you know, you're kind of going out there knowing that you don't really have too much to play with. But when you know there's going to be swell, and you know that the swell is going to stick around all day, and you know, there's consistent waves coming through, you don't really have to worry about, you know, not being able to catch a wave, because
The waves are there.
The waves are
They're
there.
coming in. We have Ryder in red paddling over to a bit of the souther end. She's seen some waves come through, and we've also seen a little bit better left peeling through there, a little more inside. So let's talk a little bit about what kind of makes the shortboards. I'd say the average lady out here is on some sort of fiberglass board under the 6-foot, or sorry, like 7-foot range. And most likely a 3-fin setup, a thruster setup. Here we go. Ryder in red. Oof, getting closed out
pretty
there.
deep on that one there.
Next wave, it looks like there was another one. Yellow is paddling
Surfer in
for
yellow.
it. She wants it. She is up and riding. Going down. Try not to take out the cameraman. I believe that was Kyler Voss out there. Great guy. I have 2 of his prints up in my house. He really does know how to capture this coast.
Yeah, and it's great to have Kyler kind of, you know, pick up the reins of SBC. I mean, we had the SBC kind of fall off the rail there a couple years ago, and you know, having Kyler step up and take a hold of that magazine, it's kind of been a staple in the Canadian surf industry for, I don't even know how long.
That's what I used to like.
So many years.
When I lived in Vancouver, I had that magazine subscription every month. Would get that, read that, live it, take the photos out of it, put it on my wall.
Yeah.
You know, when I was younger.
Yeah.
It's how you, when you can't be in the water, it's how you keep your mind in the water.
Exactly. Yeah, and having Kyler, you know, everyone, you know, probably no stranger to Kyler Voss. He's a world-renowned photographer. You got Surfer in White up and riding there. He's kind of dropping into a bit of a closeout there, but not looking like that will play a factor in her scoreline. But yeah, Kyler Voss, you know, world-renowned photographer. If you guys haven't seen some of his photography work, there's a K Voss Photography.
I do believe so. Yeah.
.com,
yeah,
or just stop by his gallery in Tofino there, right on the strip there of right by Tofino Coffee Co. and just before you hit Shelter there. Surfer in red, up and riding there, looking a little busy, but kind of
They're
fell off.
fast waves. They don't seem like they have a whole bunch of punch behind them right now, and they're a bit of a hard sell to get down that line to complete that first maneuver. So on a shortboard, for those at home that maybe don't spend too much time changing around boards and stuff like that, a shortboard, you need to be in the power. So you want to be right on that peak of the wave, right where it's about to break, pop up and project yourself down the line as fast as you can.
Yeah, and that's the thing with shortboarding. You know, it's a lot harder to generate speed and you know, develop power compared to a longboard. You know, on a longboard you have such a huge rail line, and the board's doing lots of the work for you. Where on a shortboard, you know, you got to stay busy and you got to want it.
You do have to want it, and you have to put yourself in that critical position to get that wave, and it feels like you're gonna get flipped over and hit the falls, or you know what we call purling. But once you really figure out how to keep that board nice and flat, it can be really great to have that freedom of maneuverability that you don't just have on a long board.
Yeah, and that's why I believe, you know, throughout the years of surfing, you know, shortboarding is kind of taken off with kind of the premier style of surfing that people enjoy to watch. You know, we have Surfer in Red up and riding here, the beautiful looking right here. That's
Oh, what a
Jessica Baldwin
slash.
with a huge turn on her backhand. That was a pretty critical maneuver there. So that's what judges want to see. You know, commitment and degree of difficulty to any maneuver that you're doing out there. As long as, like, you know, a variety and